And welcome everybody to another spectacular episode of the Game Informer Show. This is the show where we inform you and sometimes ourselves about games. I'm your host, Ben Reeves. Joined with me today, an eclectic crew, Marcus Stewart. How's it going?
Doing great. Hi.
Great. Kimberly Wallace.
Hi.
Hi. Dan Tack. How are you doing?
Hey, it's great to be here on the show, Ben. Thanks for having me. It looks like we got a real killer show lined up today. It's gonna be real fun.
Killer show indeed. And it wouldn't be killer without Alex Stadnick.
I'm always here. I'm always watching.
The true
number
killer.
one killer. Number one killer.
Number one stunner. Continue.
Excuse me.
He lies among us.
Is there a story? But no. Don't want to know.
Not for PG ears, Dan. I'll tell you that.
Understood.
Well, speaking of spectacular killer shows, this one is great. We're shaking things up for the next couple of weeks. We want to do something as we near the end of the year, kind of look back over the year. We're going to take the playlist, crumple it up, toss it in a bin labeled 2021, because we want to spend some time looking back at the year as a whole, because the year's almost over, as I said. And I know you guys are probably sad. You're like, oh no, the year's almost over. I loved it so much. But yeah, we're going to have to leave 2020 behind, guys. We're just going to have to come to grips with that.
Brutal.
So we want to look back at the great games. We're going to start this week with some underrated gems. So maybe some games you haven't heard of. So we all have some games we're excited to talk about. And we'll come back next week and talk about some more games that we loved in the year. Also, in this podcast, we got to settle a debt. The Game Awards were last week. We did a special edition podcast, which you may or may not have watched. I wouldn't blame you for not listening, but we did one anyway. And I think this was kind of a cool opportunity to just recap what happened at the Game Awards a little bit, and also settle a bet we made during that special edition podcast. So you don't have to listen to that previous episode if you don't want to understand what happens in this segment. It's just a recap of the Game Awards. So, and then also announced at the Game Awards was a little title called Back for Blood. This is Turtle Rock Studios' new 4-player zombie game, which I think we're all excited about.
Yes.
So excited about that. Both Alexes went and they kicked down the door and they said, "Let me play it."
Let me in.
Yeah, our video team had the chance to play the game. Did you like it, Alex?
I really, really liked it. We're going to give you some impressions towards the end of the show, but my oh my, I've not felt a zombie game hit the highs similar to Left 4 Dead quite like that has in quite some time. So if you're excited about games like that, stay tuned, because I think
music to my ears. Yeah. Music to my ears, Alex. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's at the end of the show. Both Alexes kind of talk about their hands-on impressions, and then there's a brief interview. We don't have a ton of time, but we got to talk to Chris Ashton and Leanne Papp from the studio. And any nuggets there you want to tease, Alex?
They talk about the card system in the game, and while that may not sound super sexy, the card system.
Tack loves cards.
I do, but hey, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to be sure to check out that segment to find out more.
Yes, you will. There's a marriage of kind of a deck system with the game director system from the Left 4 Dead games that is very fascinating and was one of the highlights of my experiences. So be sure to check that out.
Cool. Great. Well, let's kick off the show proper with a little segment we like to call Uncut Gems. That's right. This is the segment where we talk about our favorite.
Not the movie.
No.
Wait, is there a movie? Oh, yeah. I think they're ripping us off. Yeah, we're just going to talk about our favorite underappreciated, underlooked gems of the year. Who wants to go first? Marcus?
Sure.
I'm volunteering you.
All right. Volunteer's tribute. So my first game is a fun kind of roguelike called Undermine that released. God, I don't remember when it came out. It was like middle, almost early fall by a 2-person team called Thorium. You play as a little miner, and you're pretty much just trying to dig as far down as you can go, almost like in Spelunky. And you're making your way. It's got like a top-down kind of Zelda vibe where you're fighting through all these different little dungeons on each floor and earning upgrades and just trying to earn as much money as you can before you eventually die and get kicked back to the surface. And it just becomes a really compelling loop because every time you die, you lose a chunk of your money, but whatever you save, you can keep saving up to buy upgrades that let you keep more and just get different buffs and items to get further and further. It's got, like I said, like the Zelda vibe, like the boss fights are really fun. There's, the Zelda tropes like breaking through walls with bombs and secret rooms. It's got a really nice pixel art style and a sense of humor. And it's one that I was really into for a while. And like the worst thing I can say about it is that Hades came out.
Oh, poor game.
Honestly, yeah, like it's sad because like Hades and even maybe to a degree Spelunky 2 kind of came out after and ate its lunch a little bit. But I think if you've played both of those games and you still have that kind of roguelike itch, I think Undermine is still a great game to go back and play. It's on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have that, it's sitting right there. But yeah, that game's a lot of fun and a great podcast game as well.
Yeah, I played that game and then I kept meaning to go back to it. But there's just so many games to play.
Yeah.
But I had fun with it. There's what reminded me a little bit of Binding of Isaac, probably just because they're both top-down games like that. But if you're in the mood, if you love that game and looking for another thing, like, yeah, I can totally vouch for Undermine. So great pick, Marcus. Alex, what about you? You have a game you want to highlight?
Yeah, so it's not an indie game, if that's okay. But I do think it is one that I think it got passed over because of the genre, and that's Gears Tactics. And
Wait. I thought we were talking about underappreciated games here. Like Gears Tactics, everybody knows about it. I thought you were looking for the hidden gems. How hidden is this?
Yeah, you can't get anything past TAC, Alex. Come on.
I thought this was more highlighting the games we thought deserved a little bit more shine.
All right, cool. Mine's like Last of Us and what else? All right, anyway, go for it. Go with it. I'm not, go for it, buddy.
Now that you've destroyed his entire segment,
just
take it away. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Do you want me to say another one, Ben, or should I keep going?
No, go with it.
I'm fine with
Keep going, dude.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry,
right, Alex, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for your choice to attack. Why don't you tell us what you loved this year?
No.
All right, here we go. I think Gears is going to appeal to fans of the shooter because it does such a good job of taking that crunchy, aggressive action and translates it into this tactical genre that also pushes you to be like very active, but while also not skimping on like strategy. Like you can't run in with a class of character that has an Asher and just run show. Like you really need to think about where you're going. And I think it was a really awesome introduction to tactical games for me, and it's something like I downloaded Mario vs. Rabbids Kingdom Battle after, and I'm enjoying that. Like it was definitely a peek into a new genre for me, and I feel like just because it's tactics, and I know Gears isn't quite the juggernaut it used to be in the public zeitgeist, but I think especially with it being on Game Pass, it's a really fun experience that I think people should check out. So there we go.
I agree. The game is fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Yeah, it's one of those games I played a bit and need to go back to.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot today. Dan Tech, what's your choice?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's kick things off. I want to start with the one that I think just got overlooked because of timing. It's a real buzzer beater here at the end of the year. It's called Monster Sanctuary. This is it's on Game Pass. It's on everything actually, but if you've got Game Pass, you can check it out. At no additional cost. But it's on every platform. It's a combination creature collector, aka Pokemon-like, combined with Metroidvania, where the stuff you collect you can use to like manipulate the environment. Like roll giant boulders, fly, all kinds of other stuff that opens up new areas. So you're collecting a collection of stuff to not only do battle and turn-based combat, but also to unlock the map in a very Metroidvania way. And this all sounds really weird, right? This sounds like a really bizarre combination of stuff, but it is really sweet. There's some really deep systems in there. If you weren't happy with Pokemon Sword and Shield and you want a little bit more meat on your creature collecting, get in there. Trust me, this one is pretty killer. There's all kinds of buffs, debuffs, stacking, all kinds of weird stuff you can do. There's giant skill trees on every monster. You can take every monster and turn it light or dark to add another layer of gameplay. And it keeps going. Like the first 5 hours, you keep like discovering new layers to it. It's complex enough to really enjoy, but simple enough and it's got a really simple like pixel style. Looks like you're playing a really good SNES game. All right, this game is not to be missed. Check it out; you won't be disappointed.
What was that called again?
Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary.
Yeah,
Definitely an underappreciated gem.
I started playing that last night on my Twitch channel. And Dan, I actually want to ask you real quick: can you catch the Pokemon or the monsters freely, or did they just give them to you? Because I wasn't sure.
Based on your okay, so you can get the eggs. You get them. It's an egg system. So when you beat a battle, let's say you're fighting a frog, you could get the frog egg. the better you do in combat, the more stars you get in combat, the better chances you have of getting those rare drops. You can always get a chance to get the egg. But if you like 5-star the fight, you're going to get the egg pretty much.
Okay.
Are the monsters as cute as Pokemon?
No, but they are.
I don't know if I'm interested. I don't
They're way cooler than Pokemon, though. They've got more abilities and skill trees, fully fleshed out and developed skill trees.
Cooler than Pokemon.
You can give them weapons.
Charmander? He turns into a dragon.
You can't Dynamax them, it's true, but you can equip them and their skill trees. It's if you like Metroidvanias, if you like JRPGs, and if you like creature collectors, any of the above, worth taking a look at this puppy.
There you go. Monster Sanctuary. According to Dan Tack, cooler than Pokemon. That's what you said. Those are
Instead of cooler, I think it is cooler than Pokemon Sword and Shield, but my distaste for that particular title is well known.
Well documented at this point, yeah.
All right, Kim, why don't you wow us? You any gems to highlight?
Mine is actually a pure visual novel. It's called Necrobarista, and it is what it sounds like. You follow the story of a group of characters who own a coffee shop, and basically what happens is when people die, before they move on, they have one night to spend in that coffee shop and kind of figure out things of their life and what's going on. It was a game that I reviewed it for the website, so you can read my review on GameInformer.com, but I wasn't sure what to expect from it. And even when I started it, I was like, this is kind of weird. But as you go on, it has really quippy humor, a really good cast, and I like their moments together. And also it says a lot about like the relationships that we have in life, and kind of has like a poignant, theme of like how we spend our time on Earth and what that means. And it's a great ride to kind of just sit and watch, but it is purely visual novel. Like the only thing that you have for interaction really is you can click on certain keywords, and depending on the ones that you click, you will unlock certain vignettes that you can read that are also like really well done and gives you a little more information about the coffee shop. There's also all this supernatural stuff obviously going on since it is Necrobarista, and figuring out like, these characters, obviously they hear about people like and what's going on right before they're about to pass on, and maybe in some of those conversations, just trying to figure out like, is there a way to stay longer on Earth? What does it really mean to pass on? And do you want to embrace going into the unknown? It brought up a lot of interesting questions for me, but the ending is so good, so I recommend. It's currently only on PC, I believe. I know it is coming to Switch and I think PS4 next year, but Necrobarista, you should check it out.
I'm sold.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
That's awesome.
Sounds thematically similar to Spiritfarer. Do you think that's a fair comparison?
I haven't played Spiritfarer, but I want to.
Trust me, as somebody who hasn't played Necrobarista, it's very similar. I have no idea.
The art style is really cool too. It's got like a cool anime art style. Like I said, check it out if you even have a remote interest. Once you see the pictures, you're going to be like, I gotta see what this game's about.
Cool. Well, I wanted to highlight a game called Manifold Garden. You guys familiar with this one?
I've heard of this.
I've been meaning to play that for a long time. Yeah,
you should. It's a real gem. I just beat it last week. So hey, this is like my playlist now, actually. Officially. Bringing it back. Manifold Garden, it's one of those MC Escher games. It feels like there's dozens of those. It's a weird subgenre of games just that play with perspective in a fun way. Mm-hmm. So first person game. It's nice because like there's no combat. It's really just a puzzle / exploration game where you're moving around these unreal worlds and trying to solve some light puzzles there. But the thing that I had like endless fun with was just you can fall off a ledge and you just fall infinitely, and the environment loops around itself, if that makes sense. So you're in one of these environments that just continually like sort of sprawls off into infinity. So you can eventually like find a landing spot and continue to explore. And then the other cool thing is, hit the trigger when you walk up to a wall and you start walking on the wall. So you can walk on the walls and the ceilings, and it changes your perspective and how you see things. So that's how a lot of the puzzles are solved. So I played it on PC. I believe it came out first on mobile. It might have been part of Apple Arcade. So check it out if you're interested. I recommend it.
Cool.
Marcus, you got another one for us?
Yes. We actually did a video on this recently, but my next game is Alba, a wildlife adventure by Us Two Games, the makers of Monument Valley. Monument Valley 1 and 2, two of my favorite mobile puzzle games. This is
Another
a very
MC Escher
different
game.
Yeah, exactly.
Monument Valley is. Alba is not.
Yes, no. There are staircases in Alba, but so this is a very different thing where it is a kind of like semi-openish world where you're on an island and you play as this little girl named Alba who loves conservation and loves the environment. And so she travels to an island that's kind of based around like Spain and the Mediterranean with her family. And they find out that this island that has this like small, very tight-knit community has this nature preserve that a year ago burned down. And in its place, the mayor is planning to erect a giant fancy hotel. And everyone in town is kind of mixed about that. And your job is to try to get signatures for a petition, you and your little friend, to convince the mayor, like, hey, we don't want that. We want the nature preserve. And so you travel around a small island. It has a vibe very similar to a short hike, if anyone's played that, where you're going around this island. You're meeting all these little personalities and doing small, very breezy tasks for them. But the crush of the game is that you have a phone that you're using to take pictures of all the wildlife to categorize them. So it's got a big Pokemon Snap vibe to it.
Nice.
And so it's already kind of addictive out of the gate because you just want that. You just want to capture everything and get everything documented. But you're using those photos to not only show everyone, hey, look at all this wildlife. We don't want to mess it up. But you're using it to repair all the damaged like wildlife displays. I always forget the name of them, like the trail markers that have the pictures of the animals in the different areas. You're replacing the messed up photos with the photos that you're taking. You're going up to people who say like, hey, I can't find this one bird. I thought it was here. And you're cleaning up trash because when you clean up trash, it brings the animals back. So it kind of makes this fun loop of like, oh, I'm going to repair the birdhouse. Now the birds are back and I can take a picture of it. And the game takes place over the course of a week. You have like, I think till Friday to get enough signatures to get the mayor to listen to you. And yeah, it's not like a difficult game, but it's a very relaxing and just infinitely charming game. I finished it last weekend, which was a nice break because that was the weekend that Cyberpunk came out. And it was a nice escape from all that discourse of like, I just want to chill out and just focus on helping people and, think about conservation. And it also has the best gameplay mechanic of the year where every time somebody asks Alba a question, she has to manually shake or like nod and use the stick. So you can just go crazy with the stick and she'll like just go crazy like a madman. And it's hilarious.
Just pukes like, I'm dizzy.
Yeah, and you can do it as long as you want. So you can just like nod like for 5 minutes and they'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That's
She's
kind of
really
mean to do
enthusiastic.
to a little girl, Marcus.
I think she's just very agreeable, personally.
It is very cute though, because she's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something, and just watching her animation as she like runs down a hill, she'll like skip along or like do the little airplane flying motion.
Yeah, like it changes as you move, it's like a dynamic thing, which is cool.
Okay, I need to play this.
Yeah,
another highlight. This isn't going to interest everybody necessarily, but it seems like it's a pretty short game. I haven't finished it, but would you say it's a couple hours, Marcus?
It's about 5 hours, I'd say, 5 or 6 hours tops, if you want to be really. Because you can finish the game without categorizing everything. I think it's like 60 animals that you can find. But yeah, it's on PC. It's also on Apple Arcade. And yeah, it's a real fun, good time.
Sounds like a relaxing game to play before bed. Like to just calm down and unwind.
All right, Alex, what do you think? You got another one for us?
For sure. My next one is Cyberpunk 2077. No, I'm.
Oh, okay.
I am gonna come over there.
Yeah, you don't even know where I'm at right now.
We're all just like, what is he going to say next? How is he going to follow this up?
It is actually in the Cyberpunk vein. It's a game called Huntdown that came out earlier in the year. It is a 2D side-scrolling arcade shooter, and the gameplay itself is really cool. It's the best version of that genre. It's the platforming is great, the shooting feels great, the weapon variety is great, but the style and the music of it is what really makes it stand out. It is that 16-bit, beautiful dystopian cyberpunk reality, and it plays into that. There's some cheeky stuff to it, but I love how the game looked, especially, and it's on almost every system at this point. But it was a fun gem from early in the year that I didn't beat because the difficulty actually ramps pretty heavily towards the end. But I liked the style. Some of the humor didn't quite hit. But if you're looking for, I think it's like perfect to like have on the Switch, play a couple of games, put it down. Like I really enjoyed my time with it to start the year, and it's pretty quick.
It's a great co-op game too. I played it with a friend of the site and friend of Ben Reeves, Tim Turi, and we had a blast running through that game, doing co-op style. And I'll just highlight, it does look really good. So go watch a trailer if you're into like classic, so 16-bit art style, but this is a little bit like ramped up. It's got a cool visual style, so I'll back that up. Dan Tack.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Good. Just hanging out, chilling. You?
Yeah, we talking about games here today?
I think we're talking about some games.
I think we're talking about games.
I got one for you. I got a nice another gem. So, do you like Souls games? Yes, you do. Check out Morbid, the 7 Acolytes. All right, this is a short one, kind of a snack in the Dark Souls spectrum.
A snack.
2D, and it's contextually sort of like Salted Sanctuary or something like that. It's called Morbid. It's very grotesque. You kill one of the bosses is a woman who throws around like her dead baby. It's really
yikes.
It's all very in theme. Okay, this is it's like Bloodborne times 10. Okay, it ramped up to 11.
I mean, that is morbid.
She throws the baby at enemies?
At you.
Oh, okay.
You gotta like parry it. It's on like on a.
She just wants you to catch it.
The baby.
She just wants you to catch it. Catch my baby, please.
That's what she.
With your sword.
She's screaming. I'm not selling the game very well by highlighting that fight. I was just trying to show the morbidity here. Okay, it's a grotesque game that leans into it. Okay, if you like blood and nasty stuff, this game is doing that. You got all kinds of weapons to use, like Souls. You're going to be dodging. You're going to be striking. You're going to be hitting stuff. It's a much shorter experience than a Souls game. Probably get through the whole thing in 10 hours or less ish. But it's a cute little.
It's cute.
The game has its aesthetic, and it leans into that aesthetic. Okay, it knows what it is. I got no problem with that. Yeah, listen, the baby boss is pretty cool. I'm not joking.
Dan, what?
She throws the baby.
Dan, what was this game called again?
Morbid, the 7 Acolytes.
Morbid, the 7 Acolytes. And Dan, do you ever think to yourself like, what's wrong with me that I like this stuff?
That I like Souls.
You ever wonder that?
No, I don't really wonder that. I can go into that. I know we're talking about undercut gems here. Do you want me to talk about why I like Souls likes?
No, not Souls like. It's just like Morbid stuff. I was just teasing you.
I don't. Hey, it is Morbid. That's the name of the game, man. Like
quite literally.
I get it. I don't like Morbid. So my last game was about cutesy little aminals. All right, this game is the other end of the spectrum. I can like all kinds of stuff, and I do.
Yeah, no. It's you don't have to defend yourself. I was uncalled for. I shouldn't have teased you, but thanks for sharing, Dan. It sounds cool. So if you like Dark Souls, definitely worth checking out. Kim, what's your number 2?
Oh boy. Okay, so I've always been interested in this series. It was really big in Japan. Shocker, I know. And we didn't get the series until we got a PS2 and a Wii version of Sakura Wars. So long, my love. And now they did a soft reboot of the series, and we got that this year. And so it's just labeled Sakura Wars. It is 1 part visual novel, 1 part dating sim. And then you get mech combat. So it's everything rolled into one, and like Ace Attorney style exploration as you go around. It is crazy. The game is so outlandish. You're helping like this struggling theater of women get back on top, but the theater's struggling, but they also need to save the world, of course, right? Like, who do you trust when times get tough? Obviously, the women of the theater, they know what's up. And so they get in their mechs and you fight, and it's a lot of good fun. And those who like dating sims, I'm sure there's a girl you will pick that you like and get to know. And I just thought it was a nice, the series has always been like a tactical RPG up until this one, and they changed everything to be more action oriented, and you have cool like team attacks you do with your characters, but heart and soul more so in the visual novel and bonding moments between the characters and finding out more about these girls, and each has a really unique story and comes from a different background. Game is set in Japan in like a fictionalized Taisho era. So that's also it. So you do get to go around and explore at certain points. It's silly, it's crazy. Like the plot doesn't make sense, but I love this type of game. You know me. You know Kim Wallace.
What was this one called again?
Sakura Wars. Another one I have a
Sakura.
review of on the site. So check it out, especially if you've always been curious about the series. Sega brought it back, and I think it came out like earlier in the year. So if you missed it around then, now's your chance to go back and see what it's about.
Awesome. Cool. Dating plus mechs. What could go wrong?
Yes, that's all you need to know.
That's the back of the box right there.
Yeah. Is there any throwing of babies in that one?
No, there's not.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Dan.
You
Might
don't
not be
have
for
to
you,
have
but-
that. But
For the people at home, don't throw your babies ever.
Yeah, and if they
Do
do
not
carry
throw
it,
your babies. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be clear. Cool. I want to highlight a game called Creaks. It's a little game. It's a little bit creepy. It's not super morbid, but it is like you're a guy. The art style, let me back up, is just amazing. So like go look at some pictures, go look at a trailer for this game. So it looks super cool, but it's kind of a point and click adventure, but you're moving around kind of platforming style with your character and solving puzzles. So the platforming challenges aren't hard, but the puzzles get pretty interesting. So if you're a person who really likes puzzles, I definitely recommend it. But you're a guy who wakes up one night and like discovers there's this like crazy underground contraption underneath his house, and just this labyrinth place full of weird aliens and robots and this giant cat creature. And the story is pretty wild. It's all told wordlessly, but I really like the puzzles. I really loved interacting with things. It usually involves like, putting things into light and they transform into other objects. So it's really surreal, but just visually very striking game and very cool puzzle design. So I'm all for it. So check that out if you're interested. It's called Creaks. All right. Let's all do one more underrated gem. You guys up for that?
One more.
Yeah.
One more.
Can I pick two more?
I believe I said one. What do you guys think?
All right, you said one.
It's up to you to try to sneak it in.
Could
but,
you split your
Marcus.
time between the two?
You got to try. All right,
yeah, good shot.
if you can talk twice as fast while you do it.
we're not doing that. That would be
Auctioneer
disrespectful
voice.
to both games. So that's fine.
Marcus, hit us.
All right, so this is my favorite game of the three, and it also released the most recently as of a week ago, I think.
Okay.
And it's called Call of the Sea, which I am currently playing. I haven't finished it yet. I hope to either tonight or tomorrow. And it's weird because it came out pretty much right in the blast radius of Cyberpunk, so it doesn't really feel like anyone's talking about it, but it's only on Xbox. It's on Game Pass, both on console and PC. And it is a first-person kind of narrative puzzle adventure where you're playing as this woman. It's set in 1934, and you're playing as a woman who has this skin disease. Like she kind of has these spots in her arms, and she's visiting this Polynesian island to search for her husband, who left with a crew to try to find a cure for that disease and never came back. So she takes a trip out there to try to find him and find out what happened. So you're going around this island, and immediately you realize like something's up here because you're finding the remnants of like your husband's camp, and you're reading notes and logs and just implying like something went really wrong here. And you're finding this mystery, learning about this tribe or the culture that's on there, and that they might have some sort of like dark magic or just substance that they're kind of building your culture around that is linked to your disease. And it's a really beautiful game, first and foremost. Like you might remember it was actually shown in the very first Xbox Series X gameplay showcase. Really vibrant, like just crisp, clean visuals. The design of like the architecture is really cool. And what I'm loving about this game, outside of the story, which has me hooked, I think the mystery is really good, but the environmental puzzles are really, really well done. It's just a lot of like finding like different clues and putting things together in a way that puzzles are kind of like wrap themselves back around and relate to each other. I think it's been really fun. And it's not a very long game either. I think it's about 5 or 6 hours, but it's got like the performances are good. The character actually reminds me of Catherine Hepburn, and I keep having that in my mind as I'm playing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you know her personally?
We were good friends.
They go
I
way
said-
back, way
Yeah,
back.
it's like this reminds me of my friend Kat. And it's actually it's a strong debut because I think it's the first game from Out of the Blue Games, which is a Spanish studio based in Madrid.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, the more I'm playing of it, the more I'm like, man, it sucks that this came out like the week of Cyberpunk, basically, because I'm not really seeing anyone talk about this.
Yeah, it's crazy that during the week of Cyberpunk you made that room for that and Alba. Like,
Yeah,
Marcus, I guess.
I mean, that honestly, out of the Xbox Series X showcase, that first one, this was the game that stood out to me the most. It was shown towards the end. I was like, oh, I want to play that one. That looks right up my alley. And so I've had my eye on it for a while. But yeah, I encourage anyone that is into the like narrative puzzle driven games to give it a shot. It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, I was excited for this one as well. I downloaded it and it's not working on my PC for some reason. It keeps crashing at the loading screen. So the first intro sequence, and I've tried like 5 times and I can't get past that, unfortunately. So hopefully there's not too many other people out there having the problem. And I'm hoping they'll release a patch or something soon, because just hearing you talk about it makes me even more excited.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of bummed I can't play it.
You didn't accidentally install Cyberpunk, you sure?
Yeah, it's Call of the Sea spelled Cyber, right? Punk.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
I'll ask my
I'm
friend
just waiting
Kat.
for that patch. I'm sure it'll be fine. All right. Alex.
Alrighty.
You want to wow it? Oh, Marcus, you didn't have a second game you wanted to talk about, did you?
No, I adhere to the rules.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. One's fine. Alex, you want to talk about a game?
Yeah, the last one I'll talk about is The Last Campfire from Hello Games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to try this.
Yeah, it's a studio out of it's a studio who did No Man's Sky, but they have like I don't know if it's a subdivision in the studio that takes on like shorter games and stuff, but that's their first entry in that is Last Campfire. So it is kind of Zelda light, like where it's puzzle driven, but it's also there's not combat, but it's narrated, and it's the story of it almost looks kind of like a Fall Guys jelly bean, but like if you put an oven mitt over his head. So they're really cute. And the world itself is very beautiful, but it's a very melancholy story and feel to it. Because it delves into a lot of like purpose and people's meanings and death and stuff like that. And
you're not roasting them, are you, on the campfire?
No, that was a mini game. I chose to skip it.
They're all little marshmallows.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
You were talking about how cute they were and comparing them to Fall Guys, and I was like, don't tell me they're going on the campfire, please.
Yeah, but it has this.
Wait, do you want to burn the Fall Guys characters? Like, where's this coming from?
Yeah,
Ken?
what's happening?
I just get worried when a game is called The Last Campfire and you start with like, these are really cute characters and they kind of look like a jelly bean, like Fall Guy, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to.
Yeah,
and then he said it was
correlation
about death. He said it was about death, so I got worried. I just
Do you know how fires are made, Kim?
From the body of
I feel like you're
Last
making
one.
some logical leaps here.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to assure everybody our little guys are fine and girls.
Well, I don't know if they are or not, because it's very much like the world is almost feels like purgatory almost, where it's like you're tasked with saving the other jelly bean people, the embers, in each of the distinct worlds, and you meet a lot of interesting characters, and I liked the narration. It felt like a kind of like a bedtime story. It was really interesting. I beat it. It was short enough where I think the content in it was good, and I think if they extended it any more, it would have got kind of old. The puzzles aren't. You're not going to be looking up guides for it. It's just a nice little jaunt through this world that has a little bit heavier themes than I think I was expecting.
How many hours did it take you to beat?
5, 6.
Okay.
It's pretty short. And it's on Switch, it's on PC, I believe it's on PlayStation as well. But for the art style and the interesting story, I think it's worth your time. So
great. That's The Last Campfire. So definitely worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Alex, did you have a second game you wanted to talk about?
Gears of War 5 expansion, maybe?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, great. All right. Dan Tack.
I love you, Tack.
Wow us,
The
buddy.
indie gem, Gears of War 5. No. I'm only going to do one last one. I'm going to keep this thing rolling. I know you got a show to do here, Ben. I'm going to try to be good.
Yeah, we got to keep this rolling. No padding.
Good.
Monster
fat.
Train.
Choo-choo.
I reviewed this game earlier in the year. It's great. It's amazing. If you like Slay the Spire, hell, even if you don't like Slay the Spire, if maybe Hades got you into roguelikes, games that you might not win every time, Monster Train is awesome. These people, over the course of the year, I'm bringing it up because they've added a bunch of free over the course of the year, which is just great already. Like, this game is great. This game is really, really, really good. Even people who hate roguelikes, who made tons of fun of me, Andy Mack, love you. Yeah, first I brought this up on the podcast. He made tons of fun of me. Now he loves that game. So it's really great. Even if you think you don't like roguelikes, it's a really fun game. You summon a bunch of monsters on a train. That's why it's called Monster Train, right? And you beat your way back into hell. Essentially, you've been cast out of hell by the angels, and you're trying to break your way back in to restore it to its former glory. Kind of weird concept, kind of morbid. But it's very this one's not actually like, grossed out. There's no like, baby throwing or anything like that. It's really cool. It's really fun, really strategic, and lots of different strategies to try out. It's done very well. Really, really smart game. You will have fun with it.
That's cool.
Do it.
Is this game on your top 10, Dan?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah. There was a period in the year where I thought Monster Train was going to be on my top 10 as well, but
There was a period in the year where I thought Monster Train was going to be like in my top 3.
Oh, wow.
It didn't quite make that cut
Yeah.
because the year really did have a lot of amazing games, but it definitely made the list, and I think it's prominently placed. You should check this game out.
Yeah.
well, as we established early on, you only get one game to talk about here, so we can't talk about two. Clearly established that early on, so let's move on. Yeah. No, Tack, do you want to talk about a second game briefly?
Just really, really fast.
Get one sentence on one other game.
Yes. Everyone always talks to me about how much they wanted PT. Go play Visage. One sentence.
Is that one sentence?
Very good.
Grammatically, where's the comma?
But there was a comma in there. All right, but there was one sentence.
Okay. All right. Visage, very scary game. If you love horror games, check it out.
Yep.
Kim,
Yes.
what's your final game? Final choice.
The RPG fan is bringing an RPG, of course. This is a small, little, charming, feel-good indie RPG called Ikenfell. And it takes place at Magic Academy. And what's fun about it is the battle system will remind you, if you've played the Mario and Luigi RPGs, with the timing. If you hit the button at the right time, you do more damage with your spells, or you'll block incoming attacks and take less damage. But what's cool is the battle system evolves over time, and you can like levitate people and then like drop them down for big damage. And it just gets a lot of fun with the different magical abilities. But it's a charming little game. It's full of cats. Obviously, the creator loves cats as much as I do, and they're like part of the save points, everything. But these students they arrive at the Magic Academy and find out that something strange is going on, as students missing, and they need to solve the mystery. It's very, it has this nostalgic feel to it, to like older school RPGs in the, that 16-bit era kind of. And the soundtrack is done by the composers for Steven Universe. So it's like got a really cool, soundtrack. It's a little game that came out. I believe it's on Game Pass for people who want to check it out. It's shorter, smaller RPG, but turn-based. But like I said, as the battle system evolves, because you get to pick where you move your character as well, and you can see where your attacks are going to go beforehand, and you can even like knock characters back into each other for damage, or kind of shuffle around where your characters are by knocking. So there's a lot more depth to it than what's on the surface. And so if you guys kind of like those Mario and Luigi RPG style, turn-based combat, anything, and the story, like I said, is actually really, really good. And they do a really good job with inclusivity. And I just think, like, if you're a fan of RPGs, it's worth checking out. So it's called Ikenfell. I believe it's on, let me double check here, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I've been playing it on Switch, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. The art style also reminds me of Steven Universe a little bit. I don't know if they were super inspired by that show or what, but looks worth checking out if you like RPGs. Cool. My final choice. If you like cats, as Kim does, you might be interested in this game. It's a little game called Chicken Police. Have you heard of this game, guys?
I have. I don't know what it actually is, but I've seen the name.
Well, plug your ears if you don't want to know, because I'm about to describe it. It's a One of the things I really love is noir detective stuff. So stuff that falls under that camp. And that's what this is. This is like a noir detective, choose your own adventure kind of game. It's actually like a point and click adventure game where you're going through a lot of dialogue. So it's very story heavy. The twist is that all the characters are anthropomorphic animals. So you play as a chicken, you're a detective chicken. And the way they did the art in this game is really cool because it looks like they took actual photos of people. They're kind of like animated photos of people, and then they photoshopped animal heads onto their body. So it's really absurd looking, but amusing at the same time. And it's got it's pretty well written. What I've played so far, anyway, is really almost overwritten in the style of detective novels, right? So the detective is narrating the adventure, and what I've played so far, very interesting story. And you pick different dialogue choices as you're talking to people, and there's kind of a metagame there where you're picking choices and trying to get new information out of the people you're talking to. So fun little game. If you like noir detective adventure stuff, I'd highly recommend it. Called Chicken Police. Well, that's like 15 different games that are worth checking out this year. Probably overlooked. I'd be surprised if anybody listening has played them all, but hey, write us a letter if you have.
Yeah.
But I think there should be some good choices there. I know you're probably not hurting for games to play this year, but don't let some of these pass you by. I think there's some good choices in there. Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of this segment. Let's take a break and we'll come back and talk about the Game Awards. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. I'm joined by a couple of special guests. Alex Statnick, still here.
Hello, friends.
Blake, how's it going?
Ben, what you didn't know is you have an extra person here with you.
Oh,
I refuse to acknowledge dogs as people. Come on. What's your pup's name?
Ricky.
Okay, Ricky.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how he did on the Game Awards predictions. Leanna Rupert's here as well.
What up?
What up? And Marcus Stewart.
Hey,
How's it going?
hey. I'm doing good.
Good. So last week we did a special edition podcast where we did some predictions. We ran down all the nominees for the Game Awards that aired last Thursday night. And we predicted who we thought would win each category. And we also predicted some of what we thought might get announced, just some of the surprises that might be in store. And we all did okay, I think. I think in terms of announcement predictions, we did real bad. All of us did real bad.
All of the bad.
But I think in terms of the nominees, like generally we all did pretty good. Maybe one exception, Blake. But I won't go into that too much.
You telling me they're not showing Caddyshack in Fortnite?
I don't know if you've looked at the news recently, but top of the news feed just says Caddyshack still not in Fortnite.
Can't get no respect, you know.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Damn shame.
Well, I would love to just at the end of in that special edition show, we said, hey, we're gonna bet on this a little bit. The winner of this, after we tally all the points up, will win a steak dinner or steak pizza dinner. Who knows? So everybody else is gonna chip in and buy that person some kind of meal, which sounds pretty exciting, I think. So let's go through the awards real quick and just kind of list off. This will be a nice recap. You don't have to go back and listen to that special edition episode if you don't want to. We're just going to recap the awards, most of the awards, and tell you who won real quick. So without further ado, the best debut Game Awards, the winner of that category was Phasmophobia, which I don't think surprised too many people. That's pretty much what we had all voted for. Best multiplayer game was Among Us, which a fair number of us voted for. Yeah, because Leanna, you were hoping for Call of Duty, is that right?
I was thinking it was going to be Call of Duty. I was hoping for Among Us.
There you go.
That's right.
Is that the one I said? Is that the one I said Apex for?
That is the one where you actually went with Leanna and said Call of Duty.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I said Among Us, right? I think.
You did, yeah.
All right.
I don't think we'll list off what we all voted for.
Okay.
I'll just list off the winners and then we can tally it up.
Cool.
For sure. 2-0,
best
baby.
Sports and racing. You're doing good so far. Best sports racing. Don't cheat and tally up all the winners right now so you know who won. Best sports racing game is not a racing game. It was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which most of you voted for. I did not vote for because I was like, well, it's a remake, it's a re-release. I don't know if it's going to count, but There's egg all over my face. Hopefully that's not my lunch.
Oh boy.
Best sim strategy went to Microsoft Flight Simulator. So congrats there.
Nice.
Best family game is Animal Crossing New Horizons, which was one of those slam dunks that we all voted for. Best fighting game went to Mortal Kombat Ultimate, which another one that I think everybody except Blake voted for. Blake, you voted for One Punch Man. How do you feel about that now?
Oh, that's just one of those typical Blake goofs.
Oh, Blake. One punch to the face, man.
Hey.
Best role-playing game went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's the best role-playing game, which I voted for, but in retrospect, I kind of wish it had gone to Yakuza Like a Dragon. I kind of feel now there's some more time with that game. I wish it had gone to Yakuza, but I still got the point because I voted for it. Best action adventure game went to Last of Us Part 2. Best action game went to Hades, which is awesome. Best VR game, we all voted for it. It was kind of no question. They could have announced it as soon as they announced the nominees, but Half-Life Alyx obviously won that category. Innovation in accessibility went to Last of Us Part 2, which we all also saw coming. Best indie game went to Hades. Another great choice that we all voted for. It sounds like we're all voting for a lot of the easy ones, but there's definitely some there's a little bit of a spread. There's enough of a spread where there's some winners here. Okay, best ongoing game is No Man's Sky. Best performance went to Laura Bailey, which everybody except Leanna voted for. Leanna, you voted for Ashley Johnson.
I thought she was going to get it, but I am very happy for Laura. I'm okay with it. Laura definitely deserved it. And her tearing up made me like fall my eyes out. I was like, yes, Boo Boo, you get that. You deserve it. You deserve all the happiness.
Is that your nickname for her? Is that your nickname for her? Are you guys
are close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy to see that as well. Best audio design went to Last of Us Part 2. Best score and music went to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think is a great call. Best art direction went to Ghost of Tsushima. Another great call. And another one that everybody voted for except Blake, which was a bit of a theme. Although in this category, you voted for Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Blake, which I was like a hair away from voting for. I think that were both great examples in art direction this year.
Mm-hmm.
Best narrative, no contest. It was Last of Us Part 2. Okay, now here's like the final two, which is a little bit interesting, and we can talk about more if you guys want. Best game direction. Well, I'll just say them both. Best game direction and game of the year both went to Last of Us Part 2. How did you guys feel about the awards overall and like the winners, specifically the last two categories? Do you think Last of Us handily deserved that win?
I definitely.
I'm not surprised. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think I overestimated the goodwill towards Hades in this category. I was thinking it was going to be the unifying factor, but I mean that Last of Us was such a powerful experience where I'm with Liana. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I'm the same. I voted for Hades to win Game of the Year for the same reasons. I'm glad to see Last of Us win. I think it deserves it. I was only disappointed because I didn't vote for it, but well-deserved game. I wasn't shocked or upset by it.
I didn't vote for it. I didn't vote for it when we actually did the voting, but I did say in the podcast that was going to win because I knew it was going to, but that wasn't my pick. It was a great story. People liked it. I think the discourse was a little bit out of proportion regarding and how it actually performed, but at the same time, I would have loved to see Hades. I would have loved to see an indie title take it.
Yeah. Marcus, do you remember what you voted for in Best Game Direction?
God, I know it was either Hades or Last of Us. I'm trying to. Was it Hades? Did I go with Hades?
I think so. Because I think I used the. Just gonna kill you.
Yeah, well, that, and then also I think I used the narrative, the way that it uses its narrative and its roguelike structure is like, oh, I think that could put it over the edge. Tell me I'm wrong, Ben, and that I dreamed that all up and that I got the point.
You voted for Hades, yeah.
Damn it.
In both categories, actually, which was kind of your undoing, honestly, because you were doing real well up until the last two.
That was
So,
my. The only time Hades has disappointed me in any way this year.
do you guys want to go over the points so far?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So when I calculated it all up, no surprise, Blake was the big loser.
Look. I might not have voted for what won, but I voted for the correct answers.
Did you? Okay. Well,
Mhm.
you take that up with Jeff Keighley and the American people, I guess.
And I will.
You got 10 points, which runner-up was Leanna, as runner-up in the loser category, I guess, with 12 points.
I was gonna say we're skipping some things.
So Alex, you, I, and Marcus were really close until that last category when Marcus went down a little bit. And then in the end, at this point in the game, Alex, you and I are tied with 16 points.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, so
Fight.
that's how it is.
Oh,
But
No,
I
wait,
was
wait.
curious
Hold on.
about the Dragon Age announcement, though.
I was
going
gonna
to
s-
announcements.
So that's the next category.
Yeah.
Is like you could earn bonus points by saying, hey, what are they going to announce? And I think in terms of that category, I think Leanna's probably the winner there, although she had the most votes. Although we also said you get minus points for every incorrect one.
That's
Do we
why I'm
wanna stick
shaking
with
a little
that?
bit. Well, have you
I
done the
threw
math?
A lot at the wall.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
I feel like in hindsight, we probably should have put like a hard number of predictions we could have all had, but that's okay.
What's
We gave minus points.
Yeah, we agreed to that. Like minus for every incorrect prediction.
what's the least amount? Well, no, that doesn't work either.
I have no recollection of this.
This is
conversation.
tough. I didn't expect to be in the running this late, so now I don't know how to
I didn't expect to get this far.
Yeah.
Well, even here's the thing. So Alex, here's what you said. You thought they would announce a new Ratchet, not a new Ratchet, the Ratchet release date,
Yep.
Ratchet and Clank release date, which did not happen.
Yep.
You thought we'd see In the Valley of the Gods come back, which I thought you were crazy for, and turns out you are.
One
You thought
day.
there'd be
Wild.
yeah. You thought there'd be some kind of Warzone trailer, correct?
Which there was a COD thing, right?
They
was.
showed the gameplay for season 1.
Which includes Warzone,
think
so
that
technically
counts.
he gets it.
Yeah.
I think
So
New Warzone map.
Did you have a
too, right?
specific Call of Duty, or were you more like they'll just show Call of Duty something?
I said Black Ops Warzone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
got
you want to give
Alex.
yourself a point for that?
Unless there's an argument against, I think so.
I think so.
I don't even remember them showing Warzone, but okay.
I'll
It was
go back
really
and check,
quick.
Yeah.
It was
Then
really
you said
quick.
Among Us is coming to console.
And you know what? I was right but I missed it by a week because damn it, Nintendo just decided to hold that in spite of me. I believe that, but I'll still
But
take
they
it.
did
Yeah.
not
The ones
announce
that
that
have-
at the Game Awards is the problem.
Yeah.
And then you also said there'd be a Pokemon Snap trailer, which also did not happen. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 minus points and 1 positive point. Don't do the minuses. That could change.
We should do
things,
the
but-
minuses.
Hold on.
Shut up, Marcus.
I'm sorry.
We did agree to it.
Yeah.
We did agree.
Oh, it's such a
I'm
shame
sorry.
we can't hear Marcus. His mic cut out. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh no.
What's up,
I'm
Blake?
kidding.
I'm sorry if I just forgot this, and so I'm reiterating the last show. But you said there was going to be a new Pokemon Snap.
No, I said we'd see a trailer for it because it's already in. They already announced.
Yeah,
it's already announced,
it was announced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He-
Y'all just rocked
Someone
this
should
world.
fire me. I don't know
it's
anything.
actually, it's actually straight up Blake, it's actually straight up called New Pokemon Snap.
Yo,
Wow, maybe the commenters were onto something with me.
We love you, Blake.
Let's
I
go
had no
over.
clue.
Let's go over all the rest of this here real quick. I most of us don't get points really. So Marcus, you said there'd be a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 trailer. I don't think that happened. Elden Ring, which I thought for sure was going to happen and did not happen.
Jeff
Bayonetta
Keighley
3.
did say it. He said the name Elden Ring.
it does not count.
I think
I
I,
don't
think
know
I
if that
said
counts.
Elden Ring would be mentioned.
It was mentioned.
I'm just saying.
I gotta
Okay,
check.
even if you give yourself that 1 point, I don't think it's going to make a difference at this point. And then you said Bayonetta 3 and Hollow Knight Silk Song. So a lot of nothing. I said Elden Ring as well. I also said we get a Cuphead release date, which didn't happen. I also said there'd be a new League of Legend game shown.
Which
So
there was.
there was. So I get 1 point and minus 2 points.
Wait,
Blake, you said, what's up?
just real quick, you said a new League of Legends game. That game had already been announced before. That was just the gameplay trailer for it.
But it was an announcement of the gameplay.
But the game had been announced because it had been delayed.
We'd have to go back and check the tape and see if I said new game or if I said there'd be more League of Legends content, which I don't remember. So you can check the tape. Again, depending on how this shakes out, I think at this point it's just a race between me and Alex. So who do you want to give the extra point to at this point? Blake, you said there'd be Caddyshack and Fortnite, which I think happened, right?
Probably
100%.
So yeah,
I've never played
said,
Fortnite. I don't know what
they show off. They were going to show off Batman, the Gotham Knights game, which did not happen. Doom Ancient Gods release date, Suicide Squad trailer, and then I guess the one point you could get is Black Ops Warzone trailer.
Yeah, I felt good about all of those except that dumbass Fortnite one.
I really thought we were gonna get the DC stuff, like the Batman.
Yeah, like I thought Gotham Knights was a good guess.
Yeah, I thought that would happen too. It didn't. Leanna, you said Elden Ring, which again we all know didn't happen. Hellblade, which didn't happen. God of War trailer, didn't happen. You said Xbox would buy something. I don't know if you thought they'd buy Jeff Keighley or what. But.
I thought we were going to get acquisition news.
Yeah.
But I did get Dragon Age right.
Hideo Kojima news.
Surprisingly.
Which
and then you got Dragon Age, which is you said that, and you said there'd be something Bethesda, which I remember being kind of vague, but there were 3 sort of half Bethesda trailers. I think you can get a point for that.
Okay, I'll take it. I thought they were going to show off the new engine, but I will take anything. Just not any minus points.
So at most you get 2 points, but I don't think it's enough to put you up in the lead, unfortunately.
Hey, unless we count Elden Ring, because they did technically mention Elden Ring.
No, we are not counting that one.
Yeah, I mean, if we're counting that, you're counting it for everybody else who said it, including me and Marcus. So yeah, that's kind of how the points shake out. So I mean, if you want to give Alex a point for his, if you want to give me a point, we're tied. So then it's just a matter of like, do we take the minus points, which Alex had more minuses than I did.
Oh,
so
would you be the winner if we did the minuses, Ben? Like, did you do the math?
I would be the winner if we did the minuses, and if we don't do them, me and Alex tie.
Here's the thing. We agreed on the minuses. I shot my shot, in the Valley of the Gods. We'll see you one day, but if it's not this year, we'll see you one day. And then I think for my outrageous claims, I think I need to take the L. I think I need to cede the victory to Ben Reeves. That's what we decided, right?
What an outstanding guy, that Alex.
I think you were very close, Alex. And if they had announced Among Us on consoles,
oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Oh, this is depressing. Cut the show. We're done.
I think we need a recount. None of us witnessed the count.
Yeah,
there might have been. I don't think there was anybody viewing the. You can go back and tally it up yourselves, and we can have a comeuppance if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I did the numbers right. So
congrats to Ben Reeves.
I'll await my steak dinner. I'll send you all my address here after the show. Any final thoughts, real quick, about the show? Were things that were announced? I think some highlights for me were like Perfect Dark. I was really excited to see that got announced. Anything for you guys?
Shout out to Sean Murray getting Liddy on the stream and not expecting to win the award for best ongoing game. That was great. That was a genuine moment. I appreciated that.
He was like halfway through a beer as they cut to him too for his acceptance speech. He's like, "What? Clearly not ready."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm just about to drink my loss away." Oh wait, I won.
It almost looked like a Miller High Life too. It didn't look like he was like sipping on anything crazy. It was just I loved it. That was great. But then
truly living the high life.
Yeah. That opening was so good with Smash and the initiatives, Perfect Dark, and then the Back for Blood thing, which actually we'll get to talk about more in this episode. But that was a really, really great way to start the game Game Awards.
Yeah, I thought the Callisto Protocol looked cool. I'm a big Dead Space guy. So.
Yeah, that's the Dead Space inspired game by Glenn Schofield, who I realized after the show, I guess that's part of the PUBG universe.
Yeah, I read that.
Is that real?
Which seems crazy because nothing about that screams PUBG to me, but
yeah, I think IGN interviewed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was so excited for the BioWare stuff. I knew Dragon Age. I knew we were going to get Dragon Age because they revealed Dragon Age 4 at the Game Awards. But like, I don't know, people were kind of upset because it was a teaser. But if you actually unpack the teaser, there's so much there that was revealed. Like that was Zephyrn's concept armor, 100% Zephyrn's concept armor from Origins, which means looks like he's coming back. That was their Circle of Magi, which is showing in Tevinter, which was shown in Tevinter Nights, which is the anthology. That was shown in the teaser trailer. We get to see Solus in his full corruption. But what I wasn't expecting was the freaking Mass Effect. Like I knew Mass Effect wasn't done. I've interviewed Bioware and EA so many times, and I made them promise, pinky swear to me that it was not done. And you don't go back on a pinky swear, okay?
Can't do it.
And I knew it was happening, but I didn't expect a trailer. And to see Liara again, guys, like y'all laugh at me and make fun of me for my laugh, but you guys don't understand. I'm a really expressive person. I don't mean to be. It's just how I am. And when I saw Liara, when I realized it was Liara in that trailer, I was like ugly crying. Like there was like snot going down my face. It was so gross. But it was like
Personally,
it was,
there's no other way to cry in my book.
it made me like I'm like tearing up now. Like it made me so happy.
Do you think you'll play as Liara in that game? Would fans like that?
That'd be cool, I think.
I don't want to play as her, but if they have her like an advisor type role, because they're bridging the gap between Andromeda and the trilogy, which is kind of cool because she can live up to be like 1,000 years old, and she had those age lines, so some significant time has passed.
They could just build that bridge right over Andromeda. That's fine.
Yeah.
Blake, do you have any highlights from the show?
No, actually, one thing is sticking out to me, and I don't mean to dispute the results, but I do seem to remember I said there would be a 25-minute long trailer that reveals Vin Diesel is coming to Arc 2.
I'm sorry.
I
did
do
I
seem
give
to
you a point for
remember
that.
Yeah, I do seem to remember saying that prediction word for
That
word.
was such a weird, surreal. Honestly, like after that happened, it was like, am I in a fever dream? Just
real.
like the world felt so surreal for like 20 minutes after that.
Yeah, I think we thought, Liana, when we were covering it, I think we kind of assumed it was Turok, right?
That's what. Yeah, we were like, that's interesting. This is cool. And then it was like Arc, and we were just kind of it got really quiet and slack. Like, huh? Okay.
Yeah, just like not Turok or a Fast and the Furious weird prequel.
Oh, Fast and the Furious Primal. That would have been amazing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no final thoughts. KRZ got robbed. But that's it.
Yeah, Kentucky Route Zero. It's a shame. Sorry, bud. Okay. Well, that was the Game Awards. Those are the highlights. Thanks for watching the show. If you did, I mean, I guess we don't care. We didn't get any money if you watched it or not. But those are the awards as they see it. So we have our own awards, which are coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for Game Informer's personal picks. Those will be on the website. And yeah, let's take a break, and then we'll come back for some community emails. Welcome back to the Game Informer Show. We're here to answer some community emails. Community email time. These are emails that people write in. podcast@gameinformer.com. They'll ask us any question. Joined by Alex, Dan, and Kim. Marcus had to go, unfortunately, but most of the crew's back to answer some emails. Like I said, podcast@gameinformer.com if you want to write them in. First one we got this week from Spencer. Hey, guys. I've been blessed to have a full-time job during this troubling time, but my money goes straight to bills, and I don't have much time, much in the budget for new games being released. This is sad. I think there's a lot of people in this camp.
Mm-hmm.
He says, my wish list backlog has grown immensely in this time. Dan, are you familiar with this term, backlog?
I know exactly what it means.
Okay.
Are we going to do this?
Sure.
You're asking for it right now.
Well, let's let him finish his email first and see what the question
You
is.
brought it up.
It's getting spicy already.
His point is that he doesn't have a ton of money to spend on games, but he says this last Monday he caved and spent money on a sort of a frivolous thing. He bought Hades for the Switch, which is a great game. And he says it's a phenomenal game, and I'd wish I'd bought it during the hype peak. What are your tips for budgeting for the newest games and dealing with FOMO? I tend to get a game from the Humble Bundle occasionally, and I play it initially and just instantly fall off if I haven't beaten it yet. But he's loving Hades, but he just wishes he sort of played it sooner. So how do you guys stay hyped for a game even after it's been out for some time? You guys have any tips for Spencer here? I mean, we're in a weird place for budgeting. Yeah. Just full disclosure, we do get a lot of free games because we review them. And we're in the industry, so we're maybe in a different spot there. But I think we all have to deal with FOMO in the sense of like we don't always play games right when they're coming out. Sometimes you come back to a game late.
Well, I think even now, we had so many games that just released in a span of like a month, and there are like all these big open world games. There's no way all of us have played all of them. And if you have, I don't know how you've been sleeping lately. And I know I felt like that too. I was like, God, Ubisoft like gave us what, Watch Dogs, then Assassin's Creed, then they went straight to Immortals, and I was like, gosh, you guys are killing me here. I only have time. I've been really going for AC and just trying to finish that. So I get what he's saying, is in like, you want to be part of conversations that are going on, but even with something like Hades, people are still talking about that game and going to be talking about it for a long time. I feel like it's such a good game, and people, like, especially over the holidays too, people get the games and then conversations restart up again. So I guess advice on what to budget, if I knew what to tell you, would be like the game to, we try to inform however we can on what games we think are good or not, or what you should be paying attention to, but at the same time it's hard to say, oh, one over another is how you should spend your time. So don't really have an answer there, except to say, like, go with what interests you, play with what interests you, and talk about it. And I'm sure other people will have similar, like, the great thing is, even if you get to a game later, other people have played it and they'll come and chime in about it anyways and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I played that game, and I do that on Twitter all the time. I didn't finish, I think, Outer Worlds like last year until the beginning of January or something. So after everybody else had, and I was like talking about it on Twitter, and everyone was chiming back in with me on it. So it was still good conversations to be had.
Definitely. And for the budgeting part, at least for me, definitely like Game Pass, I think, is a really great place to start.
Oh yeah.
Because it's such a low point of financial entry. You can get that blend of AAA and indie. But I think this early in this podcast, we talked about a lot of great indie titles that are available, I know, on Steam, on Switch, and I've found that, especially on the Switch eShop, that they usually do a good job of doing sales, especially for indie games. Or I'm seeing the trend now where like a lot of indie games will launch at 20% off to kind of get that initial wave. I think that's how I got Hades, actually. So definitely be on the lookout for sales like that, because I think they're more common than I don't know if they were, but that's a good way. That's usually how I jump into an indie game on
There's
my Switch.
So many free games too. Like if you don't have Game Pass, maybe have PSN or PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. They're giving free games. Epic Store is giving away free games. There's just like everybody's giving away free games. So it shouldn't be hard to find something to play these days. But in terms of like dealing with the FOMO, I think that's probably the harder thing, is like, can you wait and not play the game when it's coming out? And I know that's hard, but just try your best to get over it to some degree. I think in some cases it can help to not play a game right when it releases. For the, Cyberpunk's an interesting example. Like, they're going to release some patches. It's not working very well right now. They're going to release some patches, so it'll probably be a better game in 3 months than it is right now. So in some cases, maybe you're actually better off waiting to play the game. Maybe start a game club with your friends. Like, get a couple of friends together and be like, hey, there's a game we all missed like 6 months ago. Let's go buy it because it's cheap now.
That's a good idea.
So then you can still be part of a larger discussion, but you're not playing it right when it comes out. Interesting thoughts.
Those are very interesting.
Next thoughts. Email. Yeah, I think they're interesting thoughts. Nick from Syracuse writes in. He says, hey, GI, I'm a huge Ogre Battle 64 fan. You guys familiar with this game?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool little tactics game.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, I felt that I hadn't seen any other game or series that captured the same tactical battle simulator that made Ogre Battle so unique. That is, until I stumbled upon an auto chess battler while scrolling through some YouTube videos. This was a genre I completely discarded as some fake mobile gamer nonsense. I was wrong. Are auto battlers the go-to genre for those of us itching for more Ogre Battle?
No, but they are really fun. But I wouldn't compare them directly to Ogre Battle. I get where they're coming from. I get where they're coming from on that. But I wouldn't say it's exactly the same type of thing. Now, that said, there are some really great auto battlers out there. If this individual has not tried the Hearthstone auto battler yet, definitely do it. It's called Battlegrounds. It's really great. It's free, no FOMO, and it gets updated often. It's a lot of fun. But whether it scratches that RPG tactical itch, with constant progression, like all you got with the auto battler is game to game, right? Session based. You play one game, you're done. Hopefully you win, and then you're out of it. It's got the cool things like you get cool units, you get to fight them, but it's not. Man, I think it's a stretch to put it in the same category as a strategy RPG, but there are similarities in some respects, sure.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting comparison too. Apparently, it's working for him, which is great. I think if you're looking for more like good tactical games, I don't know if you checked out the XCOM games yet, but I think those are really solid modern tactical games. And if you're looking for something more like Tactics Ogre, have you tried Final Fantasy Tactics? Developed by some of the same team over there at Square, and is very similar, a little bit more dated visually for sure, but I think it's still a pretty solid tactics game.
Yeah, and more recently, you can check out, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark is a very Final Fantasy Tactics like. It's pretty shameless in what its inspirations are, and if you like that kind of thing, you'll probably like that game too. Same for Fey Tactics, which also came out this year. Those are two.
Yeah, have you spent a lot of time with that one, Tack? Because I wanted to check that one out, and I haven't had time with it yet.
It kind of falls. I think the second half of the game isn't as balanced as the opening hours, but it's still enjoyable. But I don't think it's not as good as Final Fantasy Tactics. But if you're into those kind of games, you'll have a good time playing.
Yeah, are you familiar with Troubleshooter Abandoned Children, Dan?
That one I'm not. No.
That's another one that I think it's developed by.
I know.
I just made it up. You're not familiar with this thing I just made up? No, it's a game developed by this Korean studio, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But people are saying it's like XCOM but better.
Troublemaker,
which I feel is a bold statement.
Abandoned children.
All right, I gotta look this up.
I'm always interested in.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, supposedly it's a really good tactics game, so maybe that's worth checking out too. I can't vouch for it personally, but I've heard a lot of good things. Great. Next email. Brian from Fartsville writes in. He says, after years of listening to the podcast and reading every month's magazine, it pains me to tell you I'm done with you. The new direction for the site, Polygon JV or Kotaku 2 or whatever it is, isn't working for you guys. Goodbye, and thank you for many great years. Well, thanks, Brian. Thank you, too, for watching or listening. We really appreciate always hearing from our fans, so thanks.
Why did you even
Next
read that
email.
Why did you even read that one?
Well, hey, if a fan writes in, I want to, hear him out and listen to him, and I always appreciate getting feedback.
We'll
Well, he lives in
see on the way out.
so his life isn't very great, is it?
We do wish you well, Brian. Have a good one. Yeah. Andrew from Riverside, California writes in, I just thought it would be interesting to discuss humor and laughter in video games. Several weeks ago, it was mentioned that despite considering Paper Mario a funny game, you didn't really laugh at it. And that was me. I played that game for review. I do think it's very funny. Didn't laugh a ton out loud is what I think I was saying, but it's a lot of kind of chuckle, very smart moments in that game. So, back to Andrew here. He says, what's that? Yeah, a lot of oh, I see what you did there. Hopefully they're chuckling. Andrew says, I myself have laughed out loud very little while playing even some of the funniest games, such as Portal and the Stanley Parable. It's the same with books. At most you chuckle and then you sort of tell the quote to a friend. It might even be the same with a funny meme on your phone. This is all Andrew's opinion, by the way. This is not because the things are not funny, but rather because you're consuming it alone, which this is an interesting point. People laugh to communicate. Laughter is 30% more frequent in a social environment. The way you laugh in a given situation indicates your comfort level, your confidence, and even your place on the social hierarchy. A blind test showed that people can judge a subordinate from a superior through only the sound of their laugh, which is interesting thoughts here.
Huh.
So ponder this for me. Which games do you actually laugh out loud with the most during playing? Is it comedic single-player games or serious and competitive team games? So, for example, Paper Mario versus Call of Duty, Portal or Apex Legends. I think there's a lot of interesting thoughts here, Andrew. I love your comment there that I think I probably do in general laugh less while playing games than watching movies. And I kind of wonder why that is. I don't know. You guys have a similar experience?
Well, that's a lot to think about there from a resident behavioral psychologist. Yes, I think.
Yeah, I should have said that this is Andrew writing in from Psychologic Study University in Riverside.
Yeah, I mean that's very true. I mean, I thinking back on it, just in brief, the social games seem to lead to way more laughter by their interactions. I mean, just recently, this year, Among Us, Phasmophobia, even back to the days, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, even all that stuff. There are it is a social activity, right? It's pretty weird to sit there and laugh to yourself. It does happen, but like if you think about it, like it's like, okay, I do it a lot less, right? It'd have to be absolutely hilarious to emit a chuckle in a single player environment as opposed to a social gathering. Yeah, I get it. Good point.
I think you're right, because usually when I watch a comedy movie, I'm probably laughing a lot more when I'm like with a group of friends. I think they always say laughter is infectious, right? And it's true. And I think I've always laughed the hardest when I've watched like a movie with friends. So even something like Portal, as his example, which I don't know, might be the funniest video game ever made, which is a bold statement, but I don't know. I don't know what you guys consider the funniest game. This is definitely one of them, I think, Portal. And while I consider that game a really funny game, I don't think I laughed a ton during it.
I think I more just think, oh, that was really clever, or yeah, that's funny, like in my head, but I'm sitting alone in a room and I don't just laugh. But when I'm playing a game like
because you'd be a crazy person.
Right. And when I'm playing a game like Among Us, I'm with friends and like I'm seeing like their reactions and ours and like going back and forth. And I laugh hysterically during that game because just watching one of your friends like totally blow it is amazing. But yeah, it's I guess when you're playing something, I think it happens probably less when you're playing something single player and you're alone in a room. You're just like, oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that? I think it's a super interesting email. I was kind of fascinated and made me rethink all my life choices, honestly. It probably wasn't fair of me to say like, oh yeah, I thought this game was funny, but I didn't laugh out loud a ton because like, yeah, of course. Like, how often do you laugh out loud by yourself?
How many times do you type laugh out loud to somebody and you're not really laughing out loud? I mean,
Is anyone ever laughing out loud when they type that? I feel like
I force myself to laugh out loud just so I'm not lying because I don't want to be a liar. I laugh just like that too.
Because you think it's funny, but you're not actually laughing out loud, but you're indicating that's funny that way.
Great. What's the funniest game you guys have ever played? Dan, what's the funniest game you ever played? Visage?
Funniest game? Definitely not Visage. Definitely not Morbid. What? It's got to be a Portal game, right? It's not, Jackbox Party Pack. You don't know Jack?
Well, yeah. So that just points to this question even more. That's interesting. Yeah, I probably laughed the most at like a Jackbox game.
Yeah.
I'm immature and I've laughed a lot at Saints Row games, but that's because I was playing like with my friends in the co-op.
Yeah, Saints Row's a good choice. Portal's a good one. I think the South Park games are pretty funny.
I was going to say, I think the first South Park game was the hardest I've laughed at a game.
Yeah, Stick of Truth, you mean?
Yeah. Yep. Or yeah, not the first like
not the first one ever made, but
yeah.
The first RPG.
Back.
All right, cool. Next email from Thomas from Kvitsverville. I hope I'm saying that right. It's in Texas somewhere, so it's a small state. I think you could probably find it. They write in. Thomas writes in and says, "Please rank Kerrigan Queen of Blades with deepest admiration." That was the full email. Yeah, he wants us to rank. I think that brings us to the next segment of the show called GI's Meaningless Character Rankings.
So many characters, find out where they go on Game Informer's arbitrary ranking show. It's science.
This is a segment of the show where we take lists of characters that you guys write in and we put them on an ever-expanding master list of characters and we rank them best to worst. Right now at the top of our list is number 1, Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2, followed by Ellie from the Last of Us series. Your boyfriend is Arthur Morgan?
Yes.
Wow, all right.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Yeah. Dating some pixels.
He's a babe.
And then down at the bottom of the list is number 47, Agent 47, who has been locked in at number 47. So as the list grows, he will continue to be number 47, but we actually haven't gotten down that far. So we have a couple of blank spaces. I don't know. We don't make the list. We just use science to dictate it. So I wish we had more influence here. It wouldn't be so absurd, but this is how the science shook out. Great. So Kerrigan from Queen of Blades. He didn't write in 3. He just wrote in the 1. What do you guys think?
So we're not talking about Kerrigan before she was Queen of Blades. We're specifically talking about her as the leader of the Zerg.
Yeah, I assume so. I mean, would it change your opinion much if it was pre-Zerging?
No, not really. I don't know. Somewhat, maybe. I guess we're grading character here. I don't think she's a very interesting character, personally. I'm really tired of the redemption arcs in villains, but she's cool. She's a badass. Obviously, in Brood War, definitely a very powerful, intimidating villain.
I'm kind of with you, Dan. Like, I think I used to like Kerrigan a lot more when I was younger, and I don't know if that was. I'm trying to figure out why that was. Did I used to think she looked cool? Because I look at her now, I'm like, maybe, yeah.
That hasn't changed.
I mean, she has wings, which I'll give her points for. That's cool, but I don't even know if I like her look now. It just feels kind of like 90s to me now.
Well,
but
considering she's a product of the 90s, I mean, that's fair, right? I mean,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. She has a lot of cool powers, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And I thought ghosts were really cool when I first played StarCraft. So they could turn invisible. You know, they had sniper rifles. They could send down nukes.
If we're talking about her, I guess we're encompassing her entire character here. So that counts her in ghost form.
And I actually think she looks cooler before she turns into Queen of Blades, personally.
She's a very cool ghost. All the ghosts were cool. I mean, the ghosts were, back in those days, one of the coolest things about even playing, Terran was so that you could get the ghosts and lay out the nukes because nobody else could do that. And that was really great to successfully land one on an enemy encampment and just blow their whole base up from nothing. So, and she was really good at that. And she got lots of really good story segments in the campaigns before she went Zerg.
Kim and Alex, are you guys StarCraft fans?
Nope.
Not really into that?
No.
You should check it out. It's a good series. I love the StarCraft games. But I don't think any of the characters from those games really like stand out to me as like.
I think she's a standout character compared to a lot of people on this list. Like compared to the hot dog vendor from Shenmue or the Funky Kong. She's absolutely killer in comparison to those characters. No doubt about it in my mind.
Okay, so you're saying she should go above the hot dog vendor from Shenmue.
Well, that's the baseline bottom, I think. But I know how this list works. There's
bold statement, Dan. All right. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think she can go up above that. What do you think compared to Claptrap, first character I set eyes on?
I would place her above Claptrap.
I probably would too, honestly. We have Deacon St. John and Frank Fontaine from BioShock. I think we're getting close with Frank Fontaine, I feel like. I think
it's above Frank. Fontaine is such a... I understand. Like, I remember I think I was in the episode where we got Fontaine on there originally. I get why he's where he's at, but he's a minor player in comparison to Kerrigan, in my opinion.
Okay.
Kerrigan's an extremely influential character and went on to have other games, even outside of her franchise, Indie Heroes of the Storm and everything. You can play her there.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's
above Frank is Tingle, and then above Tingle is Toad Jackson from Super Mario.
Well,
I feel like I don't know if she goes above Toad. Yeah, I think she goes below Toad personally.
I put it this way: I would put her above Toad, but I can understand the argument that she goes below Toad. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, then? So then the question is: she above or below Tingle?
Above Tingle.
I think she's above Tingle.
Yeah, we can put her above Tingle.
Putting her above Tingle, I think, is a no.
Kerrigan, new 31, just right below Toad Jackson. So perfect. Thanks for writing in, Thomas.
Before the Blizzardites come after me, I just want you to know I think she should be higher, but this list is a special thing. All right, that's all I gotta say.
You would put her, but where would you put her if you?
I can't put her above Toad. We'd be here for half an hour arguing that. So I don't want to do that.
Well, you're saying like, hey, if it were up to me, it is up to you. Like,
it's a matter of what you want to sit here and argue and just keep bumping up the list. We can do that.
No, I don't want to argue about it. I just want to argue with you. Okay. Next email. We got a couple more character rankings. I tried to clean up the list. We got a backlog to go through. Turns out a lot of people have written in. So sorry if we haven't gotten to your email yet. We're still working through them. Next email from Derek from Buffalo, New York. They write in, longtime listener and now listener for the last 2 years. Ooh. I guess that's a long time. This is my first time writing in. Welcome, Derek.
Welcome.
They say they're intrigued by the character rankings and they only want to give us one to rank because they like the character. Ike from Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance / Radiant Dawn. And it says, please have Kim on when placing him on the list.
There it is.
There we go.
So,
There it is.
hey,
you got,
Kim's
yeah,
here.
you knew. What's up? Oh boy.
What's up?
So-
what's up?
Marth is my favorite though, but Ike,
Oh, okay.
Ike is pretty cool too.
Well, I'm going to have to recuse myself because even though I like the Fire Emblem games, I actually haven't played any of them that have Ike in it. So has anybody played this other than Kim?
I'll be adding my expertise as a Smash Bros. Connoisseur. Does that count?
Well, okay, that's fair. I've played Smash, so that's one.
Back in the game, Reeves.
Back, baby. He was one of the funner in Smash Brothers Melee. He was one of the funner characters to play as. But Kim, I want to hear what you have to say. What's the deal with
This
Ike?
this is a tough one. Gosh, okay. Looking at the I feel like again, I'm like, oh, he can't go past Toad Jackson though.
I know, right?
Toad Jackson is just like
This
he's
list
what is
has a
killing
roadblock.
it now.
A deliberate roadblock on the list. You can't go past Toad Jackson.
Yeah, I'd put him
Well, look, he's
around
not number
that
one.
area though. I'd put him around that area. He's a good I like Ike. I like Marth better. Gonna put that
Sure.
out there.
Well, what's the deal with Ike? He's got blue hair.
Lucina is best girl. He's got blue hair. He's in Smash Brothers. That's enough. Like, I mean,
He's got a sword.
Yeah, he's your standard Fire Emblem protagonist. So, judge how you will from what I said from that.
Okay,
Sure.
well, it's tough
Because
because
his
you
Smash-
didn't play Kerrigan, right?
Right. So I don't think he goes past Kerrigan. From all I know from StarCraft, I have a fiance who's really into it, and I think he would say to me, Kim, stop being a crazy Fire Emblem fanatic. You can't put it ahead. But I will say, he's a good protagonist. You like Ike. I don't ever hear anybody say I hate Ike.
I feel like I've heard that before. I like Ike.
Yeah,
Sounds familiar.
I
Sounds like
have-
it'd make a good slogan.
Yeah.
My heart
Yeah.
Where have I heard that?
My heart belongs to Marth, but yeah, Ike's cool. I love it. By the way, can I just say I love that the Fire Emblem characters are in Smash, and that's nobody would know beyond who they really were, except for that Smash universe really blew them up, and I love it because as a Fire Emblem fan, everybody's like, Kim, who's this character I'm playing as? Because they would never know. And now seeing Fire Emblem gain that popularity has just been awesome. So
I had a friend who thought they were created for Smash Brothers. It's like,
Really?
they took all the Nintendo characters and put them in this game, and then they created these two, Ike and Marth for Smash Brothers. Like, what a weird idea.
Yeah,
That's
no, that's
incredible.
great. I think I get some Smash Bro cred too for it. Probably more than that. So yeah, I guess.
So above Tingle, then?
I hate Tingle, so I'm gonna say yes.
Wow, they're really tight. So the new number 32, right above Tingle, right below Kerrigan, a respectable showing.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Great. All right, I think we have time for some more lists here. Got another one from Luca from Australia, writes in, says, hey, GI crew, longtime listener, first time writer. I have some for you guys to rank on your list. I think they're really good, but I don't have an explanation for them. But hey,
I like
they're
that.
great.
Yeah.
I would love if you're still writing in characters to tell us why you think they're great or why you think they're bad or whatever. So weirdly enough, though, just because this email is a little bit older, we have ranked two of his or her three characters on the list. So one of the characters is John Marston. It's actually number 4 on our list right now. Very high.
I was going to say, okay.
Yeah. Other character that we've also already ranked is Sam Fisher, which is another character that I personally love a lot. Currently ranked at number 25, right below Oron, right below Solaire of Astoria from Dark Souls, which that character still makes. This is just like the T-pose guy from Dark Souls, right, Dan?
That's right. That's exactly what it's called. T-pose, man. Anytime you're in a Dark Souls conversation, just be like, "Oh yeah, the guy who T-poses."
Yeah. Now I know how to be cool among Dark Souls characters.
I think-
Dark Souls
yeah.
fans. It's great.
I do think.
Okay.
Quick, I think someone needs to write in to rank Sam Fisher. I think Joe had an axe to grind with him, and I think he's too low.
Did you let Joe get away with being Joe? You have to go up against him when he starts that
Joe
stuff.
was mad that Aaron is so low. That was his main point.
Oh my God, we've given Aaron a lot of. Ugh, that man.
Aaron's pretty good. Now that we're adding more characters to the list, it doesn't
Yeah, it
look
makes
so
sense
embarrassing,
where
I
he
think.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the character we're going to rank from Luca's list here. Nathan Drake.
Ooh,
Mr. Drake
my other
himself from the
boyfriend.
Uncharted series. Oh, do they know about this?
I gotta choose between my boyfriends. Arthur Morgan. These are the two big ones for me. My two, like, oh my god, no.
I am a huge Uncharted fan, unashamedly. I even still like the first one. I think it's not bad for time and place. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of that series, and I think Nathan Drake is a lot of fun. He's a good everyman character, decent look for, if you're going to create a character like modern day character with normal dude, like it doesn't have armor or anything. Like, how do you make a character stand out? Like, I think they did a really good job with like making a character who looks unique enough and can stand out in that aspect.
That's a good point.
And
all right. He's definitely top 3. I'm just gonna say it like,
whoa,
that's
definitely top 3.
That's a bold statement. So top 3 is Arthur Morgan, Ellie, and Kratos from God of War. Just as an FYI for listeners.
He's definitely.
What I wanted to say too is not only is he's in a bunch of great games, but he's he's a character who it might be fun to get a beer with him. You know what I mean? It might be fun to hang out.
It would totally be fun to get a beer with Nathan Drake.
Yeah. You'd probably end up in some bar fight, but and then end up discovering some artifact. Yeah. But it'd be fun.
Yeah. You think top 3, Kim?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I was looking more towards like 8 to 15 range. Like,
wow. What's your beef with Nathan Drake?
That feels kind of low.
No beef.
That feels real low, dude. Real low.
Dan,
really low.
Yeah. What's up?
Dan, are you a Uncharted fan? Have you played any of these games?
Yeah. I've played some. I have not like the rest of you. I haven't finished most of them, but I've played a lot of them. And in some regard, he's always just like he's Indiana Jones, but not Indiana Jones, right? That's the shtick,
right?
I don't have the reference.
As much as I love Nate, he's
Toe
not
Jackson.
Quite as cool as Indiana Jones personally, but yeah.
Right. But I'm saying that's my perception of him.
He's also a bit more murderous than Indy ever was, but
well, yeah. That's a conceit of being in video games, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
There is some, the Ludo narrative dissonance,
a little bit
stuff.
Do you like him better than Solid Snake or Gladys?
Yes.
I think I personally do.
Okay.
I'd put him at 3.
Right above Kratos, you're saying?
Yes.
Man, that is a bold statement. I love him, and I wanted him to be high. I was thinking kind of around the Commander Shepard range, which is number 5, personally. Alex, you're thinking even lower than that because you clearly hate Uncharted?
Fun and happiness.
He hates fun. He hates fun.
I think I get hung up on the iconic factor on this list. I think that
he is iconic though.
More than Samus though?
Uh-oh.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I could rank him higher than Samus. Like,
it is hard to judge because like Samus, obviously really cool look, probably more iconic than Nate, but at the same time, there's no personality there.
Yeah. Thank you.
And the few times we've had personality, like Other M, it's just been kind of bad. So I think she got knocked a little bit for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the same happened with Commander Shepard, to be honest, because I would even have Commander Shepard a little higher. But that's because you play that character and it's not, whatever. Yeah. Like Commander Shepard's very iconic for what it is, for what that series is and everything. So I can understand why Shepard is where Shepard is. And I like Arthur Morgan actually better than John Marston, which I didn't think was possible because right? John Marston used to be like super high on my best characters list as well. So that's why for me looking at this, okay, I would say he's got to be top 5. If you're not going to do top 3, top 5 at least.
What about 6? I feel like Shepard for me is like the perfect embodiment of that player choice in Western RPGs and that power fantasy of saving the galaxy. I think he or she is definitely like out there. Fem Shep?
It is Fem. It should be Fem Shep, and then it goes way up.
That was, yeah.
I'm sassy now.
I would be.
The thing about the Commander Shepard aspect is like, again, I have trouble like narrowing down like who is Commander Shepard just because there's so much player choice that goes involved with that. Whereas like, I know how I played it, but a lot of those choices were my choices and I kind of feel like I shaped that. And so I don't, I guess, associate it with the character as much, if that makes sense. Which maybe or maybe isn't fair,
Well, I feel like you feel empowered through playing Commander Shepard to decide how you would handle the fate of the universe. And no matter which way you play her or him, there are choices. Like, it's how that Shepard handles the choices. Either way is very interesting and iconic, I feel like, even if you go Paragon or Renegade in those moments.
Right.
So
I like Commander Shepard a lot, but in some ways it was sort of a blank slate that I wrote the personality onto.
Exactly. I could definitely see that. That's why I feel like she is a little, oh my God, this choice is going to kill me. Oh my God, guys.
Yeah. It's not that big of a deal.
It is. I can't betray my Nathan Drake. Like, you don't understand.
Okay.
I think we can make this happen.
Yeah.
Let's settle it. Alex, where are you landing?
I say 6. I'll cede the Samus point and put him under Shepard though.
And Kim, what are you thinking?
I would go with 4.
So above John Marston.
So we know who the best boyfriend is now.
Oh. Well, she said Arthur Morgan.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Well, I guess we still know, I guess.
Yeah, you still know.
Yeah.
I was thinking the new number 5. So it feels like we're kind of in the right area, like 4, 5, or 6.
Mhm.
Dan, are you going to weigh in here? Do you have a preference?
No matter what my preference is, it's not as informed as everybody else here, so you go to it.
I think what science splits the middle, Spliance sits the middle, and I think
That's
number 5 is where it goes, right?
Yeah. Okay. I said top 5. I can deal with that. Any lower, though.
I'm gonna go cry into a pillow later, but we'll be
Kim
fine.
gets what she wants.
I have a Nathan
Great.
Android.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's very
Well, then we got to bump up a few slots.
Number 1.
Do you guys want to try to do one more quick list?
Why not?
Let's do it.
Do it.
It's a
I'm
short.
here and I'm ready. I'm here.
It's a 2-character list, so I think we can do this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Nick from Syracuse writes in and says, back in the Hanson area, I actually had an email read on the air about my dream about Andy McNamara running a Ponderosa steakhouse, encouraging me to try his patented wing sauce while simultaneously performing some sweet skateboarding moves. Nick, are
Whoa.
you sure that was a dream? Because I think Andy McNamara
that's
visits Syracuse, New York quite frequently.
He can
And
skateboard really well, too.
he loves Ponderosa Steakhouse too. So I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, Nick says, this time I figured I'd submit some characters to rank. I only have 2.
Okay.
Aiming high on the list. So this is his character that he's aiming high with. Lee Everett from The Walking Dead.
Oh.
Can you take care?
What's that, Dan?
Do we have rules for multimedia characters? Like,
Is Lee Everett a multimedia
I don't know.
character?
I'm asking that.
He was created for games.
I don't watch the show, but is he in the show at all? I don't watch it, so I don't know. But
I don't think he's in the show.
I don't think so.
He was created for the game. We actually do have rules where we don't try not to take characters. So like Batman, for example, wouldn't be on our list because he was created in comics. The one exception we made to that was Geralt. We made an exception to, which some people wrote in. They were like, what? He shouldn't belong on the list, but he's on there now. So you're going to have to take it up with him.
Somebody write in for Siri. Sorry.
Stacking the deck over there, Kim.
Lee Everett, what do you guys think?
Him and Clementine are kind of a package deal. I feel like he doesn't go above Clementine because, like, Clementine kept you going through the game and who you wanted to save. But Lee was such a great mentor and had such a big impact. God, in those moments, God, then I don't like everything about how that first season ended. So I'm just gonna say I think he goes definitely below Clementine.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure how low.
Before we get to rank 2, Alex, Dan, do you have anything to say about Lee Everett? Did you guys play those games?
I played the first 2 episodes of that first season, and I loved his character. Unfortunately, then it was spoiled for me. So
that's why you didn't finish.
So I didn't finish.
Okay.
But
That's
yeah,
kind of a bummer.
he was. Yeah, I loved him and Clem's relationship. But I agree. I think Clem was the main driving force of those 2. That being said, I'm feeling below Geralt, above Ganon. type of area.
Yes, I was just looking there, and I'm like, he goes above Big Daddy in BioShock, in my opinion.
So just for perspective, for those who are listening, real quick, Clementine is ranked number 12. So, and I agree with you guys. I think both of those characters are great characters. I think Clementine definitely, stood out for a lot of reasons, and I think she's the better character of the two. Not to knock Lee, but so looking somewhere below 12 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys landed around 15, 16?
Yeah, below Geralt.
Yeah.
I think feels right.
Yeah. I'm thinking, what do you think does Ganon? That's the one I can't decide if I would put above or below him.
I think
Dan, are you a Walking Dead fan? It seems like maybe not.
No.
I think it
not enough gore, not morbid enough for you.
It has nothing to do with that. I'm a fan of lots of other Walking Dead adjacent stuff. I like post-apocalyptic scenarios. I like zombies. Okay, they've been overdone, but anyway, we don't need to talk about that right now. Figure out where you're slotting this guy.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Fights zombies in his spare time. So
Lee Everett, a great character. I think we talked about it with Nathan Drake a little bit, where Nathan Drake has a cool look and he's just an everyday dude. And Lee Everett, similar everyday dude, but I don't feel like his look is quite as distinct.
I was just gonna say, I think he definitely goes above Big Daddy. So it's just like whether or not, to me, he goes above Ganon or not.
I think it's above Big Daddy's fine. I'm personally a huge, Zelda mark, so anything Zelda. I think Ganon looks really cool. He's had such an iconic staying presence. Power sets, kind of off the charts. Really cool magic wielder, bad guy.
I put him below there.
I love Ganon, but I'm happy to listen to an argument where he would go above Ganon.
No, I was kind of thinking along the same lines, Reeves, actually. So that's why I couldn't decide. But yeah, I would put him after Ganon.
Okay, Lee Everett comes in at the new number 17.
Wow, there you go.
Great. One last character to rank. I think we can do this quick. I'm hoping we can do this quick. He says he's going for the bottom of the list with this character. So right now at the bottom of the
bottom beater
is Ashley Graham, currently at the bottom of the list, by the way. Because Agent 7 has shifted up above her. Ashley Graham, Resident Evil 7. Right above her is Navi. Let's see what you guys think. He says, Michael Thornton from Alpha Protocol. A game I enjoyed with a character I didn't. So the Alpha Protocol guy.
I don't even know who
no
that is.
comment. Yeah, I have no clue. I know Alpha Protocol. Don't know anything about it though.
See, I Googled him. He's got a blue shirt.
Blue is my favorite color.
Blue's a good color. Blue's a good color.
Yeah, I like blue, so I'll give him points for that.
So
I played this game and I don't remember much from this character. He's pretty bland and nothing. He's like the white rice of video game characters, I guess. He's got nothing going for him. So I'll give him that. Whereas I think Ashley Graham, I actually dislike. Navi's annoying. Funky Kong kind of is annoying. So to me, he kind of floats very near the bottom, but isn't like actively the worst thing in the world.
Here's my question. Since we're all in this space here,
I can get behind that.
Does he belong in the characters who have been Dairy Queen list?
Yeah, does he get disqualified because he's not a character?
Because Kai Lang is the only one in that space, but I feel like
who is actually not a character in video games.
So I don't know. Does he fit in that space, or do we know enough about him to rank him?
I wish I knew more about this character so I could offer some help here, but I don't.
Well, let me tell you everything you need to know. Like, as somebody who's played the game, that's all you need to know.
Right there.
Yeah, there's like really not a whole lot you can say about this guy. It's again kind of like we mentioned it with Commander Shepard, right? Is just a blank slate that you write a personality onto. But in that case, that it's actually probably really hard to do because they did that pretty well. BioWare did it really well with Commander Shepard because there was some personality that shone through, and like he's a character that people care about. With Michael from Alpha Protocol, there's really just absolutely nothing there to hang on to outside of the choices you're making. So in that sense, he kind of isn't a character.
Yeah.
DQ?
I'm leaning towards the DQ unless you have the science is telling you a space to put him. Like we kind of said that for Corvo, right? Just hands that you manipulate.
Yeah, but I mean, Corvo's got a cool look, and like if you mention Corvo, people will be like, "Yeah, that guy."
Yeah.
Like I think there is something there, even though like there's not a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense to have him on the list.
Okay.
Yeah, let's Dairy Queen him.
Okay.
I think Michael Thornton is Dairy Queened. Sorry.
You enjoy your Blizzard, Mike.
In a sense, is a bad thing. Makes him at the bottom of the list. That's it. I think that's all the characters we have written in right now that we're going to do. All that we have time for, unfortunately. Which brings us to the next segment of the show, a little segment I like to call Get Wrecked. That's right. Who wants to recommend some stuff? Kim, you have anything you want to recommend?
Oh, yeah. I wrote a feature this week, an opinion piece on how Cyberpunk 2077 is just like sensory overload for me, and those distractions all around you. It both helps and hinders the world it's trying to showcase. So if you want to read more of my thoughts on that, you can check that out on the site.
Yeah.
Cool. Alex.
For me, we're doing some fun stuff on the video side, but I definitely think we kicked off the top 10 Game Informer top 10 for 2020, and we're doing accompanying videos with the awesome written work that we're putting out on the site. I think my favorite edit that I've done thus far is the Immortals one, number 10. I feel really good about the intro on it, and it came together really nice with the audio and blended all together nice. So be sure to check that out, and the whole list in general, but specifically I really like my Immortals one. So
cool. And yeah, I was going to recommend that countdown as well. There's some cool stuff. We posted Assassin's Creed Valhalla yesterday. It's our number 7 in the countdown. Before that, it was Half-Life Alyx, which is one of my favorite games of the year. So I recommend checking out that video. I think Alex Van Aken did a good job editing that one.
Yeah, that's another one where
Dan,
the intro is so good. Sorry.
Yeah, the intro is really good. You got to check it out. Alex? Or sorry. Alex, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dan, you have anything you want to recommend?
Yo, get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
What's up? Get
wrecked, everybody.
All right, check this out. This game, Scavengers. If you like Battle Royale kind of games, I did a preview on this thing. Beta got announced at the TGAs. You can sign up and play right now. Just pretty cool. I don't know if you're gonna like it, but it's an interesting mix to try out. It's PvE and PvP together. You got to fight bears. You've got to fight undead stuff, and yes, even undead bears. Okay, now that's where it gets really serious. And of course, you can freeze to death and shoot other people in the head. So it's got all that fun Battle Royale stuff plus undead bears. Called Scavengers. Free to get into the beta. Only on PC right now, though. But you can kind of find out the mechanics and features in the article that I wrote about it for the TGAs. Check that out. Get wrecked.
Awesome. Cool. So we have, just a reminder, we have some impressions of Back for Blood coming up right after this segment. So stick around for that. But I'm going to head out for the week. And thanks for watching or listening to this episode of the show. Please come back next week. My job depends on it. I need you guys to keep listening. And until then, game on, everybody.
Game on. Save Ben Reeves' job.
Game on. I'm going to head out.
Welcome back to the Game Informer Show. I am Alex Stadnick. Ben Reeves is no longer with us. He's not dead. He's just not a part of this segment. Don't adjust your screen. You are not seeing double. I am joined with the illustrious Alex Van Aken, the video editor supreme at Game Informer. Hello, friend. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Talk some Back for Blood.
Yes, we got a chance to play Turtle Rock Studios' new game during the preview event, and we're both very excited about it. And I was when Ben was like, how do we want to do impressions? I just wanted to make sure we had them because I'm through the roof about this. I know we only played 1 day's worth, but
played 2-3 hours, I'd say.
Yeah.
Solid chunk, like uninterrupted.
Yeah. And I think we got a really good idea of what this game is shooting for. And I think when you first look at that trailer, it's very clear that they are trying to emulate the success that they had developing Left 4 Dead when they were at Valve. Turtle Rock was a Valve studio, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They were. Yep.
And then they branched off. They did Evolve, which I think did a lot of really great things. It just didn't have the content to hold itself up.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Evolve personally. I played that a lot with friends.
Yeah, it was. I really liked it. And I think one of the strengths was the shooting of that game. And I think they translate that very well into this game because it It is very early. We're still, I think June is the release date for the game. I'll look it up. But
6-7 months out still.
that first level ran like a dream.
It did.
And
It felt like a finalized game.
yeah, which was crazy. So for those who don't know, Back 4 Blood is, like I said, they're going for Left 4 Dead, but it is a co-op zombie shooter.
Yep.
And one of the things that I think differentiates it from just being a clone or an offshoot is it has a twofold approach to this. First, it has something called the game director, which if you played Left 4 Dead, you're familiar with the environment changing as you progressed. So like if you're doing really well, Left 4 Dead would throw more boomers at you or more specialized zombies.
Yep.
There's a similar system in this game, except this time it implements a deck system. Which would you like to explain that to the good people?
Yeah. So I know. Viewer at home, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
What? You're gonna bring card building, deck building?
Get it out of here.
Yeah, what is this? This isn't Hearthstone. Hearthstone, if you're one of those people. But no, so yeah, Back 4 Blood integrates a deck building system, and I think you have 15 cards. And I believe the way it'll work, when we played the preview build, we just had like a certain set of cards in our library. And then like it's the whole Call of Duty thing. They have like a default card deck if you want to do that, and then you can get in there and customize and tweak things. And that's really where the fun starts to happen. So the deck building does several things. That's where you pick your base loadout. And so you can pick, you can have the AK card in that slot in your loadout slot. You could have the shotgun. All of those things come to the cards that you collect. And then, once you have your loadout picked, you have 14 other cards that you can bring in with you. And these act as like perks, stat boosts, and special abilities, and just augmentations to, game mechanics that are, I think you would, Alex, you picked 3 at the start of the game, at the start of the campaign.
That sounds, yeah. So it gives you 3, and then each subsequent level, you get
one more.
Yeah, you get a hand kind of dealt to you that has 3, and then you get to pick one from them out of your original 15 card slot.
Yes. And so there is this awesome, I'm calling it like controlled randomization. It's like you get to pick, there's a level of randomness as far as what cards are going to come into your hand at the start of the game and throughout the campaign. But there's only 15 of those cards that are, so you have like this level of control. You kind of know what your deck is going to give you. It's just a matter of when you get it, and it's really, really cool. And so there's like, for instance, my favorite card is I forget what it's called, but if you heal an ally teammate, then you get that whatever you heal them, you are healed 100% of that as well.
Yeah.
And another one is like 10% ammo boost or 10% team health, stuff like that.
And there definitely are those incremental things, but I think there's enough of those big boosters like you talked about with the healing that make it feel varied and interesting, right? There's I really like the one that gives you unlimited ammo on your secondary weapon, which is great. Especially when I was rocking the automatic pistol. That was very helpful. But also too, some of those abilities stack. So like if 2 people in your squad have the team healing on, you're boosting your health 20%. That's where those cards start to really like matter and make a difference. And I'm not gonna lie. Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I bristled a bit when that was first introduced to us because I'm not a card builder guy. I was worried that it was going to, in a way,
kind of obfuscate things.
Yeah, in a way, take away from what I love about Left 4 Dead. But it doesn't. It really is a game changer, and we felt it from our first game to when we actually got to customize it. We felt the difference because, and granted, you're never going to know a game the first time you start it up, but like
for sure,
being able to pick which specialty cards that were going to be dealt to us, I felt made a huge difference because we were able to strategize with the people we were playing with, and then in turn have a more tailored experience to ourselves. And we blew through the axe then, it was crazy. But also like, on the flip side of that, the level adapted to us, which was
Yep.
really cool. And like I said, it's something you're familiar with if you really love Left 4 Dead, but you could feel it,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about it more at the end, some of the things they need to work on, because this is
For sure.
obviously an alpha. There's 8 months away, but I felt like there was a level of strategy there that is going to set this game apart from people just going like, oh, it's people, they're
I
just
agree.
trying to copy Left 4 Dead.
I think if that card system wasn't there, I'd walk away feeling differently. I think we would be walking away talking about it feeling, they haven't really innovated, it's I mean, obviously it feels better and plays better. It's like we're, 11 year or however long, 11
I think it's
years
11
since
years.
Left 4 Dead. Obviously like things are more polished, just because of tech, but like when you add that deck building to it, it becomes new, it becomes fresh, and it just works so well. It's like it's one of those things that you're like, what the heck is this? And then once you experience it, you're like, this was like the perfect move.
Yeah.
At least right now, we've played one level, but we played it multiple times. And one last thing about the deck building that ties into the game director thing, that like where the game is constantly changing and every time you play it's different. There are corrupted cards that at the start of, like, once you get to the safe room, you close the safe room door, you're a fan of Left 4 Dead, you know what that is. It's kind of like the end point, like the checkpoints in between each campaign level, I should say. And once you get to that safe room, that's when you get to pick your extra card, but also the enemies, they get a random benefit as well, of some kind. It might just be like it's spawning a new kind of enemy. Like at one point halfway through our campaign, one of the corrupted cards that went into the enemy's deck was some zombies now spawn with armor and helmets. And it's just a really cool way to add a little bit of challenge, a little more dynamism to the experience. And yeah, man, it's really good.
Dynamism, I like that. Definitely.
Dynamism. I don't know if that's a word. It's a word now.
It is a word now. Yeah, I echo everything that you said. I really enjoyed our time with it. I know you and I are going to be playing it this weekend when the closed alpha is going out to the public. This is early. This is early in the development. But what were some of your qualms, issues that you had with your experience? Because I know I had one or two, for sure. It's definitely not perfect, but that doesn't need to be right now, right?
Yeah, I think there were a few spots where, I mean, honestly, it was like smooth as butter up until the end. I feel like the ending of the campaign was really where a lot of my frustrations were. There were some things that weren't necessarily super explained well as far as like what our goals were, and like so at the end of the campaign, you have to like go and find this group of Humvees that have some soldiers there, and that part of the game felt like really unbalanced. Granted, I think it was because we were bad at the game in the beginning. Like we weren't used to everything, right?
Correct.
When we went through again with like our custom decks, it was hard for sure. Like I was worried we weren't going to do it, but we managed to pull it off. And it felt really good to win. But yeah, I think there's some difficulty tweaking that needs to happen, because we were playing on the classic difficulty, which is I think is the lowest one that was available. It was also the default.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right cards at the right loadout, it is kind of insurmountable. It just droves and droves and droves of zombies. Yeah, like I would like chug through my entire shotgun clip. We were trying to go down this set of stairs, and I would like automatic shotgun. By the time I reload, the zombies are back, and no progress was made.
Yeah, and you couldn't do anything. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But what about you? I mean, I think we agree on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Balancing is going to take time.
Sure.
And they've even said that. That was the biggest one. I don't know if this one is fair, but I think one of the things I love about Left 4 Dead is their characters and the writing and that world building without telling you the story. And I didn't get that as much from my first time playing this. Now, we were focused on making sure the game worked, hooking up with the people we were playing with, and using comms to strategize and make sure we look good on that NGT. So I wasn't as focused on that. But I think, and this is not necessarily a fair comparison, right? But I think that was the thing that was so striking about Left 4 Dead, and so I want to see if they can recapture what made those characters great and implement them in a new way. Because I already like in the story, they talk about how your characters are immune. I don't remember how
called
they
the
got
Cleaners.
immune. They're called the Cleaners. Yeah.
Which
So
is a great name.
yeah, it's so good. So it's not the classic zombie narrative of we're just trying to survive. They're actively trying to rid the world of zombies. So it's like they're the aggressors in this, which I enjoyed that angle. But I want to see now if they can create an engaging and interesting world to fill that story in. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's very early. They've promised.
And I think one of the ways that they could improve that would be, and maybe it's there and we were just too busy focusing on learning the game.
Yeah.
But like in the intro when you're like kind of loading up, it'd be cool if there was like some more voice or like dialogue lines, like people talking and like kind of explaining what's going on, or even like a short, like as you're loading into the level, maybe like an audio file or something, just kind of like recapping and adding context to what you're doing, because all of the environments that you're going through are really cool. Like there's a moment where you leave this building and you have to like travel across like this sea of buses to get to the safe room, and like that part I was like, this feels like really cool and cinematic. Like there's droves of zombies below us. We're like trying to beeline across the top of these buses. I'm just kind of lacking the context that's driving us forward to do that. Besides, I want to get to the safe house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think if they can figure out a way to do that, and I think they can do it in small ways, that because like that's really that world building. I think it's already they're already off to a great start. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
For sure. And like you said, balancing too, but I think that also applies to the cards too in the decks. Because there was like,
there's a couple one that were pretty OP.
Or not only OP, but then there was some that just felt like they needed to do more. Like there was one that gave me back 2% or 2 health every time I got a melee kill, which was great, but the zombies were hitting me at such a rate where it was always a negative proposition. So it's like, and I don't want that card to give me like 50 health. You know what I mean? It's not meant to keep me alive like that, but like
maybe a few more blips of health.
Yeah.
So it's more of like if you play it right, you can come out positive.
Yeah.
Because it felt like no matter what, you're coming out, like you said, it was a negative proposition.
Yeah, for sure. So, but we're early in this, but as someone who played hours of Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, I think this is absolutely a step in the right direction. And I think this has a really cool shot to give us a little bit more modern take on that series. So, and
I agree.
And with the deck building, I think if you're bristling at it, like please try it, because I'm sure you're going to have the opportunity to at some point. It's a cool system that I think is really gonna take off. So, but we shall see. Mr. Van Aken,
I'm right there with you.
Thank you so much for joining me. We actually have an interview with some of the developers for Back 4 Blood coming up right now, so be sure to stick around for that. Welcome back to the GI Show. I am your host for this lovely interview that I'm conducting. I'm Alex Stadnick. Join with me, Alex Van Aken. You're not seeing double, I promise. Today, we are joined by 2 very, very special guests. Today, I'm joined by Chris Ashton, the design director, and Leanne Papp, executive producer. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Alex and I got a chance to check out the game, and we really like it to start. So I guess my first question for you guys is, how does it feel to be back to this genre that you guys kind of championed when you were at Valve?
Ooh, that's a very complicated question because obviously we like shooting zombies and we like the fantasy, the zombie fantasy, and that's what the game's built around. And obviously we had kind of a different voice this time and different things we wanted to say with the game. But also I think there's a lot of, we knew there would be a lot of expectations and pressure, and not just from everybody else, but really internally. There are high expectations to live up to. But we knew going into it, like, there's probably the biggest enthusiasm in the studio because, everybody knew at a minimum what the game was. Yeah. And then the question was just how far do we go and what's the maximum look like? So it's been really, really good.
I think what's nice too is that for us, the focus is always on, is this fun? So, setting aside those kinds of expectations, what we're looking for is something that the development team enjoys playing every day. Because the thing that we always talk about is like, if nobody within the company enjoys playing it and is excited to jump into that daily playtest, why should anybody outside of Turtle Rock have fun playing it? And so I think that helps us a lot too, because it focuses the decisions that we have to make, the things that we have to prioritize on making sure that this is a very fun and awesome experience.
And I mean, going back, to 2009, Left 4 Dead 2 still has an active player base on Steam.
Yeah.
Like clearly, there's something about, this format that just works. So like taking that idea, what do you think design wise kind of feeds into that replayability? Like why are people still playing this game for so long? And how did you take those learnings and kind of distill that into the creation of Back 4 Blood?
Well, I mean, the goal is always for Turtle Rock, for really all of our games. We've had a real focus since the beginning of the studio on multiplayer games, just playing games with friends, right? Having a good time with friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the co-op stuff came up. It was always team-based multiplayer, and then it got into real heavy co-op. And we got into real heavy co-op, and now we're kind of taking a little bit, this is more fun and it's more approachable. And we know that it should be easy to get into and easy for anybody to jump in and play the game. But also now there's a challenge of we wanted the game to really people be able to log hundreds, if not thousands of hours and still have new experiences and still have goals to work towards and really, get their money's worth out of the game. So those are all kind of things that we were focused on when the goalpost, if you will.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just love playing with their friends. So providing gaming experiences that let you do that is important. And then, we talk about the progression systems a lot in the card system. And it's because you also want to have a feeling of achievement session beyond session. And like Chris said, that approachability of I can play for 500 hours and have all these great unlocked cards that benefit the whole team. So, it's okay if I start playing with one of the Alexes who only has 10 hours in the game. And we really like the idea of that. It's not exclusionary at all. Like you're able to play with anybody that you're able to convince to pick up the game with you.
For sure. And I think right off the bat, that becomes clear on how you guys are differentiating yourselves from some of the other work. Do you want to go in depth a little bit more on the card system and let people know how it works and what's exciting about it?
Right. Yeah. So Turtle Rock has a long history. I think everything that we've done, we've implemented a lot of procedural systems. And originally that was introduced. We were doing procedural systems because of lack of content, right? Because of replayability. But now we've got a bigger team, and so now we can build the content as well. And so now you've got replayability on top of a lot of content, but also because we have these procedural systems, we're able to in all of our games before, we've had this code that's running in the background that's managing all those procedural systems, right? And as a player, you just sort of get the output of that. And really the theme, one of the themes from this game was we wanted to do a zombie game, but not a zombie game where you felt where it wasn't cold and dark. And, we wanted there to be hope. And that's why, the place that you start out with, your community, the human community, is in Fort Hope, and it's called Fort Hope for a reason, right? I mean, in this game, there's a lot of hope. And so we wanted the game to be bright and fun, even though it's about zombies. And, but we wanted to have that attitude and
highlighting being a badass and letting you do that.
And so, giving the players a lot of control over those procedural systems turned out to be a good way to reward them. So for example, you're used to in any game, really, as I move through the environment, I search rooms and I can find items, right? That's a super simple, common thing. You get kind of rewarded for going and searching extra rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But now, depending on what cards I play, I can affect what can potentially spawn in those rooms, right? And that's where Leanne was talking about the card system being inclusionary with players, is if I played a card that's going to spawn more or higher quality Molotov cocktails in the world, then anybody who goes in that dark room can pick up a better Molotov cocktail, and it's just more efficient at killing zombies, right? And so we all benefit from it. So, as you play through the game, in pretty much any way that you can imagine, you're going to earn cards, and these go into your permanent card collection. And before any mission, you're going to pick a subset of those cards, and that's really going to be based on your strategy or what your role is on the team, or what difficulty you're trying to overcome with this particular mission. It's and so you'll pick a subset, and then at every safe room, the director is going to give you a hand, and you're going to pick, one or two cards out of that hand. So we call it deck building. So you want to build, as you basically want to have the biggest collection of cards possible, right? But that might take, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know how many hours that might take and how many cards. There's a lot.
Is that something you guys are going to continue to add to as the game launches and then progresses?
I don't know at this point. We kind of want to ship this and even get feedback and see what people, because there's a lot of questions like what kind of cards do people like, and because we've got a lot of different types of cards and things that affect different. So we kind of want to see what everybody's going to do with them.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Well, awesome. And I know for me, my favorite mode from Left 4 Dead 2, which I poured so many hours into, was the versus mode, where you could control the zombies and kind of, you're fighting against the people who are playing their campaign. Is there that sort of mode in this where I can play as the zombies? And if so, does the deck building kind of integrate into that aspect of the game too?
There is definitely PvP. I mean, Turtle Rock's always done asymmetrical multiplayer.
Yep.
And we really geek out over it. And so we're real excited to do that again here. But we are, kind of heavy, actively working on that stuff right now. And so it's just not something that we're talking about just yet. But
you'll definitely get an opportunity to play as the Written.
What sort of next gen features are you all utilizing with this game, and how many campaigns can people expect?
The features thing is it's less about platform and more about the tool set that we had to work with. So you did mention missions. We have a lot more missions, and it's probably worth pointing out that the missions are all related, right? There's a linear progression of story.
The game does get more difficult as you push through that campaign. So that's where the importance of like adding to your deck and building up more tools becomes important. So for us, really the focus has been on that core game experience. And if there are things that enhance that, then we do our best to include that as well.
Fantastic. Cool. Well, when can we expect Back 4 Blood? When and what
June 22nd, 2021.
Woo! And then what systems are we looking at?
Xbox One, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC on both Steam and Epic.
Love it. So thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate it. I know I'm really enjoying the game. I'm excited for people to get their hands on it. Thank you for watching or listening to the GI show. We'll be back next week with another great episode. Until then, like, share, and subscribe. And in the words of the immortal Ben Reeves, game on. Thanks, everyone.